Hello, welcome to the class trial chapter 6. Finally, was going to be the last contents regarding the main contents of Super Danganronpa Another 2. That probably is a chapter 0, as far as the wiki goes at least. As I did say, I had to check something on Kokoro and Kurokawa because I forgot a name. Also, this is the second time recording this because I made a mistake. So let's reread all the bullets again. The mistake was I moved this a little bit too down and it was cut from OBS for some reason. Virtual world avatar. Apparently our bodies in the virtual world are just avatars and can be changed at will. This was proven by Yoriko's sudden transformation to the real world appearance and the fact that the dead bodies inside the capsules have changed to look identical to the real world look. Yuri Kagarin. Yuri Kagarin made a large contribution to the space industry using the AI named Yuri. For space flight supports that developed independently using flight data, as this was done only in the 20s. This made Yuri known as the symbol of hope for the next gen. In addition, he was also acquainted with a Kanitara, one of the 79 class. Was he? I forgot about that. Targets of the Killing School trip were all related to the 79 class Hope's Peak Academy, to various degrees. This was because of Utsuro, 79 class students who was trying to be released from Yuki Maeda's brain by creating a killing game similar to the one he had previously experienced. That is... no. Okay, let's just continue, but that is a little bit wrong in here. It's not Utsuro that's trying to be released. That's not the reason for the first killing game of Danganronpa Another. I'm just gonna say it. The first killing game of Danganronpa Another was a test. It was like a little test drive kind of thing to see if the killing game that was going to be made by Junko in a later date would work. Like the time frame between the most tragic events happening and the students of Hope Speak, like the 78 class, the main class from the very first game, being locked up. Because according to, at least to this game, the 78 class lived together for a while inside Hope Speak before the whole killing game setup actually started. That time that they were living together, the killing game of class 79 was happening. It was kind of like a test drive to see how Junko's actual killing game would go. At least that's what I understand. I may be wrong on that. New World Program. The world was trying to resurrect Utsuro using Yuki's personality, was inspired by the plan of Junko Enoshima to insert her consciousness into another body. They even went as far as to steal the same equipment using her plan, the New World Program. Why did Mikado get such manpower? In addition to this, we know now that time flows differently in the New World Program. Next Generation Symbols of Hope. Those that were involved in the Killing School trip were chosen for more than just being connected to the 79 class. Apparently they had to be ultimate students as well. This was to create the best environment for a killing game. The body and minds of the participants had to be changed to reflect this. Monochrome. Monochrome's identity is that of the AI Yuri, created for the Space Development Program and developed by the Kagarin Corporation. When you put in the New World Program, the AI was modified by the voice to suit the killing game. Monochrome has no memories of his time as the AI Yuri. Kokoro Kurokawa. Kokoro was famous in the past of the psychological world. She suddenly disappeared at some point and was forgotten from most people's minds. She had a daughter and performed the unknown psychological studies on her. The daughter was Mikado Kurokawa, Mikako Kurokawa. Mikako Kurokawa, the ultimate exorcist of Hope Speak Academy 79 class. Looks like she did some work with Mikado in the past, and the creator of his alter ego. Reset code. Reset code is said to be something that modulates the tempered data in the virtual world and fixes it to how they were in the real world. However, if there is no tempered data for that person, nothing happens to them. Such is what happened to the Void members. Everyone in the capsule devices are dead. Setsuka Chibokuro. In the past, she lost her right eye in an accident and received a prosthetic replacement. Later, she worked as a private investigator using the power of her eye. With this, she made a great contribution to the rebuilding, not revolution, of society after the tragedy. This gave her the title of one of the next generation's symbols of hope. Before the killing game, she was requested to capture the members of Void by the Kisaragi Foundation. She found something out about Mikado. That's what was written on the now burned note she wrote. The twins. Prior to the tragedy, they were active in a group called Melody Rhythm. After the tragedy, they devoted their time to charity events and performances to help build the moral of the stagnant society, eventually becoming symbols of hope. This profile, however, does not include the atrocities committed by Kanade. Monochrome suspects that they met with the ultimate policeman Tsurugi Kinjo, who is now the current director of the Kisaragi Foundation and was a student of the 79 class of Speak Academy. Akanitara. Like Void, she also followed Utsuro. However, she was more closer to him than anyone else. If Sora's theory about Akanitara is true, that means even with the reset code activated, she will have no changes. At the beginning, Sora forgot her memories of being Akanitara for the most part. According to Shobai's earlier words, it's inferred that Mikado tried to hide the existence of Akanitara. We know now that in the real world, Akanitara is in a brain-dead state. Children of Utsuro. A long time before Void was formed, all the children of Utsuro helped died except for the Void members. According to Iroha, Nike called the group the Children of Utsuro, before Mikado's takeover. After the death of Utsuro, the protection of divine luck began to disappear. Luck from the heavens. The Children of Utsuro was comprised of people who were all helped by Utsuro in different ways. But to the extent they were all helped depended on the person, as a result the amount of divine luck they received was all different. In the Cat of Voids, Iroha received approval from her family, Hajime received health improvements, Emma received financial influence, and Nike received power over the people. Shinji Kasai. He was a veteran firefighter who saved many lives during his young days. Later he retires and worked as a security guard for a while. When the tragedy hit, he sprung into action and was selected as the first next generation symbol of hope. He also helped save the life of Inori Kanata, who was part of the 79 class of Hope Speak Academy. Shobai Hashimoto. It turns out that Shobai was the Void's collaborator. That Nike mentioned in the Tower of Babel. Only the Voids knew the existence of the collaborator, but they did not know the details of what they were supposed to do. Looks like Shobai and Mikado have some sort of connection. We now know that he was working for Mikado's alter ego, but at the same time he was a double agent for the Kisaragi Foundation. He was also the one who modified the New World program. Mikado Sanoji. In the past, Mikado was living in an orphanage which suffered a major fire. Utsuro was the one who appeared before him and saved his life from the fire. He then began to become fascinated by Utsuro and wanted to meet him again, so he started a fight on his own. When he heard the news that Utsuro was dead, he planned his killing school game. Sure, in an effort to resurrect him. Killing school, trip, school game, same thing. Alter Ego. An artificial intelligence program created by the ultimate programmer with self-learning capabilities much higher than the average AI. An alter ego, when fully evolved to its limits, is no different from a human. Using this technology, it could be possible to reproduce another self of somebody who had died. Alter ego Mikado Sanoji. Mikado, who was the mastermind of this killing game, was not actually human, but an alter ego. The real Mikado Sanoji died a long time ago. Mikado's ultimate purpose... I looked to the side for a second, I lost myself. Mikado's ultimate purpose is the resurrection of Utsuro by putting artificially created divine luck into Yukimaido's body to awaken Utsuro from within. He's trying to bring Utsuro's personality and divine luck back within the New World program. Emergency scapegoats. When Rei and Teruya confronted Mikado for the first day in Utsuroshima, Rei was engulfed in the flames of Mikado's magic. She did not die from this, however, she escaped the virtual world using the emergency scapegoat prepared as insurance if anything went wrong. Thanks to that, her virtual avatar was abandoned and she returned to the real world unharmed. Admin code. The admin code was used by Shobai, who was working with Mikado. The code could be used to obtain the same level of permission as Mikado in the virtual world. At the moment, he was revoked of the permission from Shobai. He was revoked those permissions from Shobai. What? Control room recording. CCTV footage from the control room taken during the killing game up to this point. It clearly shows how Teria died on the 5th island. Teria was made into a human firewall by Mikado after he altered his data slightly. As long as Teria was alive, contact with the real world was impossible. Teria knew this and decided to sacrifice himself by eating poisoned food on purpose of killing himself. His last wishes were for us all to escape. I'm thinking a little bit about this. If he died, fully knowing, I mean, it is only assassination if someone else provokes it. If he died, even though he died by consuming poisoned food, I mean something, excuse me, by consuming poisoned food that someone else gave him. Like he died because someone else gave him food containing cyanide, but he knew the food was poisoned. Does that still count as murder? Because he knew the poison? Or since he decided to eat the food willingly anyway? Will that actually count as suicide? I don't know, I may be just like, I don't know, speaking nonsense, as always. Why am I saving the game? Okay, I'm gonna equip my new skill. If I can, I can. That wasn't a skill, it was this one. I can equip it. Okay. I just started class trial. Yeah. Hello everyone, welcome to the final class trial. Given the disappearance of our original host Monochrome, I, Mikado Sanoji, will be in charge of explanation here. In the previous class trial, there was a murder case and the goal was to figure out who done it. However, in this class trial, we will discuss the truth of everything. If you manage to figure out this truth during the trial, it will end. This long killing school trip will finally end, and each of you will return to their daily lives. What? What are you talking about? What's so confusing about that? I don't believe those words. You're just trying to use me to resurrect Chusuro. Discovering the truth is pointless in this nonsense trial. Pointless. Huh? I've already told everyone else, but this class trial is an important process and the last stage of my plan. Isn't it good to have a final trial to resolve all of the doubts you may have? Or would you rather I kill somebody and we discuss the murder of that? No thanks. Yuki, it's okay. I don't know what he's up to, but we know you're still alive, and that Mikado's plan isn't complete yet. So there's still a chance we can win, there is still hope. I'm just as surprised as Yuki. When this is over, we'll all get to return to our daily lives. How long are you gonna keep up that lie? I'm not lying. I'm being honest with you here. Nobody else has to die. I'm not some psycho killer like Kanade. Healing is no longer necessary. It's weird to hear you say that after everything you've been through. If a plan is successful, my body belongs to Utsuro. So how can I go back to my daily life if I don't have a body? Yuki, don't worry. Thanks to the people who died in the killing school trip, the conditions for a happy ending have already been met. If everything is gone as I planned, all of you should have died. And thanks to the intervention of Kisaragi Foundation, an unexpected Plan B had to be established. Although it was surprising, this Plan B is a peaceful plan where everybody wins. Excuse me, Mikado, but could you be so kind as to tell us where to start? Could you just shut up? Iroha brings a good point. Where do we start? Whether Mikado's words are true or not, it doesn't change the fact that we're stuck in this place. That is true. Mikado, I don't care if you're lying to us or not. But where should we start? Should we start by cleaning up what we found like usual? Oh, good idea, Sora. Yes, everybody knows a little something different about my plans for the individual investigation. But before we discuss anything else, let's start with talking about Teria. Teria's case was mostly solved in the last trial. However, there is one thing that has not been solved: the truth of Teria's death. The death of Teria holds an important secret that relates to the entire killing school trip itself. We're discussing that first. Wait, what's wrong, Yuki? I didn't get a chance to investigate, so what do I do? I was just trapped here the whole time. I don't know anything, so how am I supposed to join in? Hush, little Yuki. This class trial is an abnormal one. I expected such a rebuttal from you. Huh? You just need to quietly sit on the bus and listen. In this class trial, no, in my plan, you are my special piece. I have to give you the deluxe treatment. What? Don't worry, Yuki. Me and Sora found out a surprising amount of information when we investigated. It'll be just like before, we got this. So this class trial is just to explain things to Yuki. Wow, I've been working hard whilst I've been trapped in this place. Sorry guys. We're talking about the death of Teria. Everything starts from there. I don't know what this trial means, but there is no way around but through. Right now I need to figure out what Mikado's planning by playing along. Investigation is over. It's time for the trial. I'll save everyone. No, stop debate. No. Shut up. Okay, I'm actually re-recording this because I managed to press the mute button the first time I was choosing this. Let me just go... Okay, I'm gonna show the whole sequence of speech, but the answer is this one. Teria's death wasn't just a murder. Oh, there's more to it than that. Aren't you the culprit? Teria died because someone poisoned him, right? That's what we deduced in the last trial. Our reasoning was correct. Mikado even admitted that. Is there something we missed? Teria's death, forgot to think about that. Okay. So it's the control room recording on Poison him. Save the game. Continue. I'm only gonna show the save the game once. Complete. Why is it showing what? Well, 100 points. No, not gonna. No, what? What happened? Why did Teria choose to die? That's because Teria's body was being used for something. Used for something. The very existence of Teria is a firewall that blocks access to the real world. When the Killing School trip first started, Teria and Ray showed up in front of us. Do you remember that? Ray was returned into a pile of ash and Teria was sent flying by a magic spell. After that happened, I modified the data of the unconscious Teria. So I turned him into a firewall. What exactly do you mean by the block access to the real world? To put it simply, as long as Teria's heart is beating, nobody from the outside world can interfere with Tsurushima. What? That's crazy. Didn't you think it was strange how nobody from the outside came to save you all? Teria kept patiently saying that the Kisaragi Foundation would come to help. Even after I figured out that Ray was still alive, the Foundation never came to help. It wasn't that they didn't want to help, it was they couldn't. And shortly after Teria died, we were able to escape into the outside world. You all went to the outside world. In the class trial, we lost consciousness during the execution too, right? That was because our connection to the virtual world was lost. But why didn't I leave? I was still stuck here. In your case, I prepared some preventative measures in case of an emergency. Preventative. I manipulated Yuki's code so that even if the virtual world crashes for an unknown reason, he would stay under my control. This is why Yuki remained in the virtual world. But damn you! Don't get annoyed. Sora didn't leave either. In Sora's case, her body on the outside is dead, so it is slightly different in your case, Yuki. Wait, Sora can go out in the real world. About that, we'll talk about it later. We need to focus on the trial. Sora, Anyway, Teria realized that the Kisaragi Foundation could save everyone if he died. He understood Mikado's plan entirely and decided to willingly eat the poisoned food and kill himself. And that is why Teria died. Congratulations, that is the correct answer. Even a little look into it and you'd see something strange. Teria truly was an idiot. He shouldn't have eaten the food given from the enemy. I was going to kill Teria either way, but just made it so I didn't even have to do anything myself. He really did all that. Teria sacrificed himself to remove the firewall. I think it's amazing. It's something I couldn't even do. It was a meaningful sacrifice. But the two members of the Kisaragi Foundation he believed in so much could even finish the job. The Kisaragi Foundation is doing their best. Please don't be too harsh on them, Yuki. If it wasn't for my luck, the fight would have ended with the Foundation's victory. Teria's sacrifice was indeed significant. Thanks to him, your life was saved. Please be considerate. Could you just shut up? Wow, I was only trying to help. I find something strange. Why aren't the Foundation members participating in the discussion? Iroha and Shobai too. This is getting boring. It's like my precious guests aren't even here. Shut it. I guess Teria really didn't mean anything to them. How insensitive. Both of you checked the video in the control room, right? Did you both feel nothing watching that? I have no intention of participating in this crazy trial. I have an idea what you're trying to achieve by doing this. Until you reach that stage, my participation isn't needed in this pointless discussion. I see. I'll ask you this. Why did you choose Teria? I don't quite understand. Why did you force Teria into the skinny school trop instead of me? From your point of view, would it really matter which one of us participated in the game? Ray, isn't it obvious? Teria is a moron. I'm sorry, I have a cold. Why is my microphone spiking so much? What happened? Is it because it's closer? Is it because I finally managed to put it in a better position to me? I'm sorry if it is spiking a little bit too much. Do I have a limiter on? I do. I do have a limiter. Yeah, my mic. Okay, I'm gonna. Sorry about this. I'm doing the live. Like a moron, but I'm doing it. However, even if you participated rate, the result would not have changed thanks to the power of divine luck. But it would make the process significantly easier if it included someone who is an idiot. Now the microphone is too low. It feels too low on the meter. I see. It was idiotic for me to ask. It is still going to be difficult either way. Even if there is guests here, the participation amount is still too low. If this keeps up, I have no choice but to force open your mouths. That means it's time for the truth of the killing school trip we've all been waiting for. Why is nobody responding? Iroha? What? Oh, yay. Before we discuss more, I'd like to hear something from Yuki. Huh? Me? I must help Yuki who didn't participate in the investigation. This is the director of the Kisaragi Foundation, the former ultimate policeman, Tsurugi Kinjo. If you're the leader of the Kisaragi Foundation, you're the most important person here. Yuki, why do you think of Mr. Kinjo here? Oh? Kisaragi Foundation was a little too late to save us, but I think they were trying to help us from the outside. Were they trying to save you? Is that really true? What if I told you that everyone's death was all the leader of the Kisaragi Foundation's fault? What? Mikado might not be lying. I know the truth about Tsurugi. What did Tsurugi do? Larger craft's about to begin. Oh, you're gonna stop with the... Prepare for the butchering of a recording session. Of all the things to second with. Oh. Okay, so here is one thing that I say this sometimes. The stress that OBS puts on my computer differs if I am recording or if I am streaming. Since I am recording, this thing here right now is a lot more stable than it would be if I was streaming, so it's a lot better to do, which doesn't make it easier. Why was Tsurugi Kijo the cause of everyone's death? Because he withs information, because he upholds information. He held information that was important to better solve the case. Microphone is still spiking. I may have to lower it. Oh, it's a smart. Oh no, it's back to lagging. Okay, it was just that section. It's not that laggy. I remember in the first game, it was similar to the Hangman's Gambit, but it was in Korean. Oh, so it was difficult to understand. But for some reason, the last chapter, I got a hidden skill that I'm not supposed to have. Well, I don't lose influence, health. I don't lose health when I'm missing, so I could just spam the buttons as much as I wanted, and I wouldn't fail. But I just hate Flappy Bird. I just hate Flappy Bird. Come on. It may be a skill issue. I don't care. I just despise this so much. And maybe I'm gonna skip the whole logic crafting, you know. I fucking hate this. LINUJ. Like I still don't know if it is a group or if it is a single person. If one day this whole playthrough catches the attention of the devs, for the love of God, don't re-add Logicraft. It sucks. I just hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Here's my one of my tidbits of hate towards this game. This Logicraft sucks. I much rather have the original Hangman's Gambit to have this thing. And not even the original, from Danganronpa Another, no, the original from the very first Danganronpa, the one that everyone hates. That Hangman's Gambit, yeah, I enjoy that a lot more than this thing. Find information needs to look in Kinjo hides. Everyone said the identity of the spy, how to skip the identity of the spy. I hate this. Oh my god, are you kidding me? How do I... Okay, I just hit the floor then, I guess. I just go as close as possible to the floor, hit the floor because the floor does minimal damage. And then I use the invincibility frames to go through the one-hit kill blocks that are just walling me. Or I just do it, or I'll just do it. Why? Oh, now I can't hit the floor anymore. Are you fucking... I hate this. Why did Tsurugi Kinjo hide this information? Because he's a prick. Because he's a member of Void revived with Tsuru to prevent it from getting leaked. Those were the answers. Please don't make me do logic crafts again. If I do have to do logic crafts again, that it'd be like a V3 situation where I just refuse to do the minigame because I don't care anymore. So that's it. Oh. OBS froze for a sec. So that's it. You're talking about Tsurugi, about what Tsurugi heard about the spy. Yes, still as sharp as always, Sora. What are you talking about? A spy? Hidden information? Tsurugi? No, the entire Kisaragi Foundation has been tracking Mikado down for a long time. However, Mikado was hard to find, and in the process, Tsurugi made a bold move to turn the tides. He planned on a spy. A spy? Who is it, do you know? The spy that Tsurugi planted in order to locate Mikado. If I recall, it was... Shoba Hashimoto. Sorry, I made bread. There may be a few thousand skips on this. It's because I was making minute bread. I was testing a recipe of minute bread. And it's done. So I may be munching a few times during this section. It's delicious. It is hot as hell. It's also very hard. It just got out of the oven. Here's the spy inside of Void who was working for the Kisaragi Foundation. No way. Shoba is the spy. Dogs. He's not just a spy. Originally he was on Mikado's side and working for Void as the collaborator. But he was also hired by the Kisaragi Foundation, so in other words, he was a double agent. Working for Void and the Kisaragi Foundation at the same time. So he's the collaborator Nike mentioned in the Tower of Babel. That's right. Are you kidding me? This information was confirmed by Iroha herself. Stop right there, Akaritaira. Huh? I'm not going to deny that I hid information, but it was a sacrifice that needed to be done. Also, that information couldn't have been the clues that Mikado Sanoji left us. So how exactly do you know that? I told her. Excuse me? Got a problem with that? Wake up, Psycho Cop. How long are you going to be this stubborn? Your damn pride is important right now. Your plan, which you have been preparing years for, has failed. We have to try something else. Even if you're right, I know what it has to do with exchanging information with those people. If they know the truth, how do you even change the results? The results might not be that different, but there are other possibilities, including one that could potentially lead us to hope. I'm not going to blindly follow your orders anymore. I've had enough of you. I'm working on my own now. Your one plan has failed. If you had just told me what was going on, I could have helped. You owe the Foundation a lot. Wait, they both part of the Kisaragi Foundation, right? So why are they both fighting? Didn't I tell you? Everyone's death is a result of Tsurugi's actions. The espionage plan was not created by the Kisaragi Foundation as a whole, just by the leaders selfishly alone. It's no different than Tsurugi killing Teruya himself. If you would have just told us, even just a little, you might have been able to find a way to save him. Not only that, Tsurugi was in contact with Shobai, meaning he knew that a killing school trip was about to take place. Even though a lot of innocent people would die, Tsurugi simply tolerated it. How morbid. No way. But why did you even hide it from the Foundation in the first place? He must have been concerned about the info getting leaked. If it was ever leaked that Shobai was in contact with Tsurugi, all his efforts would be in vain. Typical. He doesn't mind sacrifices as long as he achieves his goal in the end. He's always been like this. Tsurugi. From my memories, I remember you believe in justice more than anything, as you despise all criminals. So why would you team up with a known criminal like Shobai? I just don't understand that. Because Tsurugi is the ultimate lawful evil in history. You don't get it? It's quite simple. I used evil to judge evil. Okay, so now he's chaotic evil now, is that it? What? There is so much evil and injustice in the world. Amongst them is the real evil. People so rotten that they can't be judged fairly. The retribution for judging such wickedness causes too much mental damage. Two members of justice being tainted just to judge one evil. Doesn't it seem absurd? There is a way around this problem, to let evil judge true evil. Are you talking about the theory of necessary evil? There shouldn't be a thing as necessary evil. In my perfect world, there shouldn't be any evil at all. I only use evil as a sort of medium, that's all. What the hell? He's more crazy than he looks. Tsurugi. Rei, I thought you understood. I've been just pretending to understand until now. You crossed the line a long time ago, ever since you killed Jukinjo. Jukinjo. Okay, this is something from the previous game. Like, it is revealed that Tsurugi's influence to becoming the ultimate cop. Like, Tsurugi's influence on his work, his dedication to eradicate evil, and how he ended up being selected as the ultimate cop is because of his father, Jukinjo. His father, his uncle, a family member. And it is revealed in the end of the first game that Jukinjo kind of fell to the remnants of despair. Like, not that like he died, he just got super corrupted. It is because of Jukinjo that a lot of law enforcement, according to the game, a lot of law enforcement in cities and towns and like army deployments and stuff have failed to respond accordingly and appropriately to insurgencies created by the ultimate despairs. So apparently he's killed his parents. He's killed this guy. He killed this guy. Oh, you're evil? Yeah, you're a family member? Yeah, you are the sole reason why I am the one I am right now? Yeah, you are. But you're also a scumbag, so I'm gonna kill you. What? Like, yeah, Kinjo has become the evil Batman. I don't care what you say. From the beginning, I knew not everybody could understand my path. But Rei, allow me to ask you something. Was there any other way? Huh? If I hadn't have worked with that damn broker, how would we have even found Mikado's energy in the first place? Do you remember the days where you couldn't find a single clue, even when the entire intelligence team was on it? Without the help of this Okay, again, one sec. Alright. Without the help of this broker, do you think we would have even found the location of Mikado's energy? Could you have figured out Mikado's plan on your own? Yes, I know. It has negative consequences. But at least I had a plan, and we managed to get this far. We're here, face to face with Mikado's energy. I don't care if you act alone or not. I don't feel betrayed. But you don't have the right to blame me for doing nothing. That's ridiculous. Huh? Yuki. I still don't know everything. And I still have a lot of questions, but I know this for sure. You're lost to Mikado. It doesn't matter if you work with Shobai. You still withheld important information from your comrades. As a result of that, you ended up in the clutches of Mikado and participated in this trial, just as you wanted. To judge evil with evil, you can't just shit. No, that's... If you read it that great, you would have saved me. Look at me, I don't even have a body. Stop Stop. Stop it. Stop acting so pretentious like it's all over. You need to think of a... That's enough! You dare say that with that face, with that voice. Don't you dare talk to me like that! Huh? Shut your mouth, Yuki. Somehow, I'll save you, so just please shut your mouth. What happened? Why is this guy screaming? Tsurugi. That's enough. You might not have known this, but Yuki was Tsurugi's mental support during his previous killing game. What are you talking about? It's the first time I've seen this guy before. No, it wasn't you, Yuki. It was Matsuru Utsuro's pretending to be Yuki. Sora did that, didn't she? She helped Utsuro's kidnap Yuki, and he went to Hope's Peak Academy pretending to be him. As happened in a file in the control room, the 79 class's killing school life was caused by Utsuro. Utsuro erased his own memories, and he thought he was Yuki until the end. Tsurugi Kinjo. Yuki's right, we have no choice but to proceed with the trial for now. And to do that, I told Akane Tara the information you told me. Well, I'm sorry, Tsurugi, I didn't mean all that. No, I understand your anxiety, Yuki. I'm very sorry for the inconvenience I've caused. It's okay. Rei? What? I'm sorry. I'm helpless now that my plan has failed. What Yuki said was exactly the truth. I just didn't want to admit it. You're pathetic, honestly. They really think I forgive you for what you did to Teria and I. When this is over, you feel my wrath. Tsurugi, Rei. Guess it can be helped. It's true that everyone here is fighting against Mikado altogether. Let's try to cooperate. I put my personal feelings aside. Excellent. What? Tsurugi, you really are amazing. Your espionage plan has been working for the last few years has failed, and you're in a virtual world with no chance of succeeding. Blah, blah, blah. And to top it off, you have to deal with the fateful memories of looking at someone with the face of an old friend. You sure are strong-minded. I definitely think you're truly one of the best humans I've ever encountered. Hey, Tsurugi, just let me know pretty much 90% of everything he says is other bullshit, just ignore him. I was planning on it anyway. I still get treated the same, even in the finale. Well, that's not important now, but it seems Tsurugi and Rei now seem to have at least a little intention to join in. Now that's cleared up, shall we continue? If you are unsure or have any questions during this process, please don't hesitate to ask. Tsurugi, there's something I want to ask you. Oh, what is it, Yuki? I'm not talking to you, shut up. No, I didn't mean it. The reason why I've been communicating with Shobai is because I learned about Mikado's plan because of him, right? Why did you discover that made Rei so angry? That's correct. Shobai Hashimoto was able to find confidential information about Mikado Sanonji. And because the Kizaragi Foundation had failed to capture Mikado Sanonji multiple times, I decided to work with him, and thanks to this I was able to find out how Mikado was able to pull such a large-scale crime off. The two Kizaragi Foundation members have started to participate in your discussion, so I have to help them both as much as possible. Confidential information Shobai found out about Mikado. I finally when I was investigating with Yoruko. Now stop the baby. Why are we getting another tutorial? Several years ago, Mikado Sanonji hacked into the Foundation's base. Since then, we, the Kisaragi Foundation, have been trying to capture him. The first few times he was easily traceable. There were many occasions of catching him in reality, so we were able to constantly chase after him. Then after it became impossible to track him. Yes, I thought it's impossible for a human to hide their footsteps completely. But after some time, all traces of Mikado's energy vanished. But didn't you just say that was impossible? Then how's that possible? He's only human after all. Did something happen to prevent him from doing that? Mikado's confidential information that Tsurugi found out through Shobai. It's got to be that. It's the very last one. This one. My mic is spiking and my VR tube is less responsive. Something's going on that I don't know of. No, Yuki, it is possible. It is? Simply because Mikado's energy is inhuman. What? Tsurugi and Rei said after some time he couldn't be tracked. That's because the human called Mikado's energy is already dead. What? Mikado's dead? No way. Rei, could you please show that picture to Yuki? The one containing the corpse of Mikado? Of course. This is the state of Mikado in the real world. It's so gruesome. How did you get a hold of this photo? Our shopman must have taken it. Wait, I don't understand. Mikado is inhuman. If he's not human, what is he? Who is this right in front of us? The human known as Mikado is already dead. The Mikado in front of us, that person. No, he's a... Why didn't I just answer the question? Alter ego? No, I answered with this one, so it's this one. That's pretty much the same information. All I needed to know is that Mikado was an alter ego, and then ask the question during the class trial, what is an alter ego? And then someone would explain. It's just like a very succinct explanation. Like that, I'm pretty sure Yoroko gave at some point. Like, alter ego is a very advanced form of AI. And that's all I have to say. Created by the... Don't even have to... Okay. Complain. He's not actually a living person. He's just an AI. More specifically, an alter ego. An alter ego? What's that? Don't worry, I didn't even know what it was until the investigation. Alter Ego is a high-tech software created by Shihiro Fujisaki, the ultimate programmer of Hope's Peak 78 class. It is an AI formed and grown through speed learning to create a human-like your other self. What? Mikado's an AI? Correct. What a shocking and unexpected twist. Hello, world. That's why the Kisaragi Foundation couldn't track Mikado down. An alter ego doesn't have a body, meaning it would be impossible to top catch him since he can just jump from network to network, as well as manipulate information. That being said, the person who hired Shobai wasn't the real Mikado but the alter ego Mikado. Alter ego Mikado hired and paid Shobai to kill the Mikado in reality. Wait, this is too much to take in. I still don't understand. I've never heard of an alter ego before. So alter ego Mikado hires Shobai to kill his real counterparts. But then who created his alter ego? I was created by a human, obviously. So who created you? I killed the parents who gave birth to me. The forbidden sense of immortality. Only me and Kanade would get it. Ray said it a little while ago. Alter Ego is a program created by the ultimate programmer at Hope's Peak Academy. The technology was modified and improved using various ultimate students, and there are various versions of Alter Ego in fact. However, due to the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history, the technology wasn't well known to the public. Tragic event in history? This is too much, there's just so much I don't know. You still don't remember? Unlike the others who have had their reset codes unlocked, Yuki hasn't been. Come to think of it, didn't Teria say something like that before? Her Hope Speak Academy is in ruin. Also, according to Yoriko's theory, our memories were manipulated to be back to our high school years, and our appearance as Ultimates too. That's right. You didn't know who I was when you first saw me again. What I look like now is how I actually look in the real world. When I was a student, I lied about my age to work as a hostess. What? So, we're not Ultimate students? That's right. Most of the actual Ultimate students are already dead. That is strange. That doesn't make sense. What is it, Yuki? You just said that Alter Ego was created by the Ultimate Programmer, right? And that Alter Ego Mikado was created by the actual Mikado. That's one big contradiction. I don't understand what's happening. Please refute me if I'm wrong, Sora. We're about to showdown. I'm fine, I'm good. It might be easier to read because I'm recording, but it's still not gonna be easy to do it. It's probably Kokoro. Alter Ego Mikado alone, that doesn't make sense, it's so strange. Mikado isn't an Ultimate student. Alter Egos were only created by Ultimate... It just doesn't make sense. The real Mikado, if you particularly believe something, otherwise I don't believe it. I understand Yuki doesn't want to believe it. I couldn't believe it at first either. But if you just hear me out, I'm sure he'll understand. I need to explain to him what I learned during the investigation. Wait, Yuki, just listen to me for a minute. Are you really taking his word for it? What? Mikado is lying. The fact that Mikado made his own alter ego is simply correct. Alter ego Mikado was co-developed. Co-developed? That was someone who helped him. That's wrong. It's quite the opposite. Mikado was the helper, not the main developer. Yuki, you know her well. The main developer name is Kokoro Kurokawa, or you might know her as Kokoro Mitsume. What? Kokoro? It's her. There was a documented infirmary that showed various conversations between Mikado and Kokoro. I think it's clear that the two of them had some kind of working relationship, and that Kokoro was the main producer of Mikado's alter ego. Kokoro, huh, what a nostalgic name. How painful it is to hear the name of our dead mother. Wait, I don't understand. Why is Kokoro being brought up? Kokoro's dead. We know she died, right? My head hurts. Are you okay, Yuki? Quiet, everyone. You're forgetting that Yuki here didn't investigate like you all. I know you're all impatient, but don't say all this as if it's common knowledge. Have pity for Yuki here. Shut up! You're just trying to make Yuki's memories come back. Let me take over the explanation from here. I'll explain all the details you may not know at all. What are you saying? As you well said, I am alter ego created by two people. My father Mikado Sanaji and my mother Kokoro Kurokawa. I am the ultimate VTuber. My father Mikado Sanaji desperately tried to gather information on the whereabouts of Master Utsuro. In the process of this, he learned quite a bit about computing, and I made a joke which is actually can be considered as Mikado Sanoji's alter ego being the ultimate VTuber. Ah, goddammit. In the process of this, he learned quite a bit about computing, and ended up becoming a hacker to search for information. My mother, Kokoro Kurokawa, was a prominent psychologist and researcher who excelled in the field. I'm laughing because now I'm thinking of the ultimate VTuber. Ah, goddammit. Hate my life. She left psychology for some reason and began to work in the field of brain science. I was born because of a coincidence of interest between my mother and father. Do you understand? Interests? My father wanted to revive Utsuro as an alter ego, and my mother wanted to understand emotions. To create a human from scratch was her goal. Of course, a lot of research of emotions was needed for this. But alter egos were created by Hope Speak Academy students, right? So was Kokoro Hope Speak student. Kokoro was not a student of Hope Speak Academy, but her excellent abilities were comparable to that of an ultimate. Ultimate talents is not absolute. Of course, Hope Speak Academy is the best educational institution in the world. But a talented person doesn't always have to attend Hope Speak Academy. Continuing on, both my parents extracted the data from Master Utsuro based on experimental data taken from Kokoro's daughter. That was the base for my alter ego. Wait, Kokoro Kurakawa? Could it be Mikako? No way. Final response. This must be a familiar name for Tsurugi and Rei here. As you might have expected, yes, your classmate Kokoro is the mother of Mikako Kurakawa. What? Tsurugi, did you know anything about this? I don't think you did. Is that a no? Oi, Shobai Hashimoto. What? Why was I not informed? Give me all the information as part of our contract. Did you hide this? Or just not know? Director, I don't even know everything that Mikado is about Mikado in the first place. I didn't bother to find out anything that was related to our deal. Got no clue about that Kokoro girl's past. Mikako's mother was involved in Mikado's Sanoji. I got to be a coincidence, right? By the way, isn't this the first time Shobai spoken in this trial? Wait, Mikado. Experimental data of her daughter. Tell me more about that. It's the first time I heard anything about it. No, it isn't. Oh no, it is, never mind. Albarakuro said was that she had a daughter and that she was missing. And about an experiment, what happened? What a pain. Honestly, that isn't relevant to my plan at all. Still, if you're also curious about it, I'll put it simply for you all. They were experiments on primitive emotions. Primitive emotions? What's that? In short, it's the original source of human emotions. Even though I'm not human, I still didn't understand it well. The first emotions humans have when they are born, that pure emotion that isn't affected by external factors. Anyways, to study emotions, Kokoro. She was pregnant with a girl, and immediately after this birth, locked her away and studied her emotions from her lab. Why would she... Hey, pregnancy, babies, experiment on children, is that legal? No, it isn't. During this, she connected an electrical device to the girl's brain to obtain emotional details from it. However, her partner escaped and took their daughter called Mikako. And for that moment, until Mikako's death, everything she experienced was stored on Kokoro's computer. Kokoro's daughter is dead. Yes, she's dead. Because Mikako was a student of Hope Speak 79 class and Tsurugi and Rei's classmates. Terry didn't mention it. In the killing game of 79 class, everybody died except for 3 people. That is correct. Shoba informed me that somehow this killing game was supposed to be a recreation. That intel was correct. Yeah. Also, Junko Enoshima said that she was destroyed. She said that. What? I'm trying to absorb this. Junko Enoshima said that she had destroyed the data sent by Utsuro. So that's how Mikado learned the contents of the killing game that nobody except the 3 survivors knew. That is correct. All of it was etched in the Mikako Kurokawa's brain. However, Mikako appears to have died before Master Utsuro's identity was revealed. Combining that with the backup data from the alter ego Yamato stored in Kizaragi Foundation, it is possible to see the entire contents of the killing game. How about that? Do you understand now, Yuki? The fact I am not human. I am indeed an alter ego. Mikado and Kokoro worked together to develop the alter ego Mikako who's right in front of us. No. Mikado and Kokoro worked together to develop the alter ego Mikado who's right in front of us. Okay. His alter ego then hired Shobai and made plans to make the killing game we're actually in. Something's off. What is it, Sora? That's right. It's been on my mind ever since the investigation. Mikado, your purpose is to revive Utsuro, right? Yes. My mouth is dry from having to explain this so many times. I was wondering about something you said a while ago. You said that the human Mikado was trying to revive Utsuro. Even though you're an alter ego, is your goal still the same? What are you trying to say, Sora? That's right. The alter ego that was supposed to be Utsuro then became alter ego Mikado. That's what you're talking about, right? Huh? Yeah, that's why he was on the computer during the investigation. We was. I'll explain that. In short, it's because as soon as I was created, I got over my father's thinking. What are you talking about? I think you're wrong. My father made me to target Master Utsuro, but the first model that became my base was a replica. Don't you know? So far, all of the developers of alter egos have been for someone else. Do you want to know why? Because your brain is easier to understand than someone else's. It's said on the computer infirmary that an alter ego follows the developer's personality. That is correct, Yoroko. In other words, even if you scan your brain 100%, you can implement it inside other people. That's why my father implemented his own brain data, since it was taking time to tune the data. So then why are you exactly the same as Mikado? Because you die before you can resurrect Master Utsuro. What? For the moment my consciousness awoke, I aided my father to calculate his plans. I am a clone to my father's internal brain structure, so it is no surprise my purpose is the same. However, why hasn't my data been changed to Master Utsuro's, you might be asking? Because it was a terrible plan. It was too imperfect of a plan. With a low success rate, automation was very inefficient. That's why I secretly hired Shobai Hashimoto behind my father's back and ordered him to kill my father. How is that possible? You're just an AI, how did you hire a broker? I'm just an AI. Are you saying that I'm less than a human? Huh? For the moment I was brought into this world, I surpassed human wisdom. All humans are beneath me. There is no human that can even come close except for Master Utsuro with his luck. An alter ego can theoretically navigate through any network in the entire world. Furthermore, in your current age of internet, nothing would be impossible for him to find out. But still, you killed the person who created you. To revive Master Utsuro using my father's original plan, to put it simply, would take too long. Anyway, it would be impossible for him to meet Master Utsuro, he's only human after all. This is my only plan. I just kill my father and carry out his purpose in the same result to the end. In the end, there is just one final step before Master Utsuro gets resurrected. Just shut up. Give me my body back. You say the real Mikado is dead, but how about Kokoro Kurokawa? What happened to her? Kokoro? Ah, you're referring to my mother. Well, Kokoro kept me alive. She was the deciding factor of my life. She decided to let me continue with the plan myself. What? You're the only artificially created emotion in existence. How far can you grow? Could your emotions surpass that of a few humans? And where would they go from here? Show me. Let yourself be carried by your emotions. Act on them. I won't stop you. Because you're the freest being in the world. I can act proactively because I have emotions. My unexpected behavior was due to someone adjusting my emotions. Kokoro's goal was the study of emotions. She infused me with an excess of emotions that exceeded my needs. As a result, you modified the plan to your will. In the process, you killed Mikado. What? Everything we fought for, everything you've been through was all because of Kokoro. That's just a theory. Kokoro would never do that. No, Kokoro would have expected this to happen. She didn't even try to stop me. What would you expect from someone who experiments on a baby, even when he's just in the womb? Even to me, an artificial intelligence, the existence of somebody like Kokoro is surprising. She's a mad scientist. A mad scientist. Wait, but Kokoro was trapped and got murdered in the killing game. How'd you explain that? She was trapped. Yuki, I think you got it all wrong. My mother voluntarily participated in the killing game. That's crazy. She wanted to see how the new world program worked combined with my software in the virtual world. As for me, being implemented as a virtual avatar in a virtual world is the first time I experienced the sensation of walking. But Kokoro lost her memory like us. That was a surprise for me. That means another betrayal. It was an unavoidable decision. Kokoro was the only person who could possibly stop me. She just caused problems later. I thought it'd be best to take advantage of the situation. Okay, that's the whole story. Kokoro, a scientist who used her daughter for human experiments without hesitation and threw away her dignity on research. Her dignity. That's the true nature of Kokoro's Mitsumi we all knew. A bitch! Was it for the best for everyone that she had her memories erased? Was the Kokoro I met during the Kirin school trip always that terrible? There is no point thinking about it now. I mean, if her memories were reset to a point on her life where she was just a psychologist, then I don't think she was always terrible. I'm gonna act on Kokoro's defense here a little bit. And a little bit of a... I don't know, it's just supposition and hearsay if you like. I think at some points in Kokoro's life, she got a little bit too absorbed on her psychology. And her psychology study. I mean, she was able to read everyone's mind. So maybe she got a little bit of the apathy that creates the villains of Danganronpa, where things are just a little bit too predictable and too stupid. So because of that, she wanted to go a little bit longer, a little bit more than that, and she fell. She fell in her research. No matter how much I think, she's already dead. And the dead can never come back. It's a rule of the world, an impossible thing to change. Unless you're playing a fantasy RPG, but that's not the point here. That's enough. But it is good as a result. 2 insane criminals ended up being dead because of a rogue AI. There is no place for sympathy. All we have to do is beat the degenerate scum in front of us. Instead of reacting to these dramatic reveals, we should switch topics. That's right, the story of my life is pretty dramatic. Anyway, since that point the killing game proceeded smoothly. Yoroko, what's wrong? It's nothing, I'm just feeling a bit sick. It's a terrible series of events, it's just so hard to bear. I'm feeling sick too, look how ill I am. Be strong, Yoroko. If you give up now, it'll all be in vain. I know it's an unusual case, but you have to stop him here. I agree, but he's not human. Was there really no way to stop him from the beginning? I'm right. Even this class trial was outplanned by Mikado. Not to mention the Kisaragi Foundation is clueless. Yo, Yuki. Huh? Everything's gonna be fine. Let's just keep going. We're not gonna get out of this. Shobai? Are you okay? Probably. Okay. It is 50% okay. That's unexpected of you, Shobai. There's nothing to worry about. Although it's not ideal for everyone, but I wouldn't consider what's gonna happen a bad ending. Really? How do you know? I say the same thing, remember? From the beginning, I said I have no intention of killing you all. I only want to revive Masaru Utsuro. That's bullshit. You know full well what will happen when Utsuro is resurrected. The bastard is a disaster incarnate. A thing such as him shouldn't exist in this world. Whilst your unwavering conviction is amazing, I skip the text, your life wouldn't be the same without Master Utsuro. Divine luck was cast on you too, was it not? That is sorta true. That is sorta true. What? What is he talking about? During the killing game of 79 class, Tsurugi here was saved by divine luck. Your legs. You're in a wheelchair, aren't you? Hasn't gotten to the point where you can't even walk anymore. Shut up. I'd rather die than unleash a monster like Kutsuro. As long as I live, I will never allow him to come back. Never! Your will is irrelevant. The result has already been decided. Now let's get a move on. After making a swift deal with Shobai, my plan progressed. He did such a wonderful job solving my physical limitations, but I never thought he would betray me. From that moment on, I began to collect diverse information that was necessary for my plan using networks from all over the world. That's when I obtained the 3 most important pieces of information. What are you talking about? I mean, you should already know. Really? Iroha, what is he talking about? No need to rush, let's discuss that one by one. Tutorial. I'm fine. Kokoro constantly monitored me. So in my contract with Shobai, he was to assume the whole of my body. And what was the first piece of information obtained from Shobai after we... A clue is that it's something directly related to Iroha. It's got something to do with me. Maybe it's something to do with my fortune. Did you find a trace of Utsuro? No, you're both wrong. I don't know why, but Iroha seems to be putting almost no effort. The grand plan to revive Master Utsuro. During this creation process, it felt like I needed some partners. By partners, I mean people to betray. So is that Iroha's mention of someone... this one? It is this one. I wonder how many magazines are gonna be able to buy with these chapters payouts. If it has something to do with Iroha, then it's got to be how you gather voids, right, Mikado? That is correct. While I was looking for information to help with my plan, I discovered traces of the children of Utsuro who were in the same situation as me. Children of Utsuro is a group of people who had helped Mr. Utsuro as a child. Naki thought it sounded cool. He already had lots of information about Alter Ego, and Kokoro and Shobai were already working with you. So why did you need 4 more people in Voids? That's right. Asu ended up betraying all of the Voids together by killing them anyway. Betrayal, is that what you think? Do you think that's the Voids didn't agree with the plan? We didn't. We didn't explain that we died for real at all. Like I said before, my manpower originally consisted of Kokoro and Shobai. However, there was a different reason why I brought the 4 Voids in. Another purpose? The total amount of divine luck everyone received was different. Everybody's aware of this fact, right? Total amount of divine luck. Total amount of divine luck. I think I heard something about this before. It is, what is it? Luck from the heavens? Yes, this one. Iroha, did you explain to me before that the total protection of divine luck depends on the amount received? Oh yeah, I heard it from Mikado. Correct. However, I still don't know 100% that the power of Divine Luck is. The protection some might call fortune is. Fortune is caused by a combination from the power of Divine Luck itself. Combination? Let us combat power in manga as an example. Well, let's use combat power in manga as an example. Both Hajime and Nema were protected by Divine Luck. Hajime obtained health, and Nema obtained wealth, so each person was influenced in different ways. Going back to the manga power analogy, let's say that Hajime's fortune power is 100 and Nema's 90. Assuming that two people use the power of Divine Luck for some reason. For the same reason, the amounts would combine, so if you combine the numbers, it's 190. So if multiple people who are protected by Divine Luck work together, the power of Divine Luck gets stronger? Wait, does that even make sense? The power of Divine Luck doesn't make any sense. It's just a surreal force, so how can it combine? No, I think it's possible. During the fourth try, do you remember what Nike said? Yeah, because you had interfered with the plan, everything went wrong. Shinji would have died on the spot and never woke up. He would have never had the chance to even think about saving Yuki. But how come? Only those with the same power will be able to change the result. Only people with the same power will be able to change the result. That's right. What? Divine Luck is a force that distorts reality. There is no conventional way to stop it. However, if Divine Luck is in conflict with Divine Luck, it's a different story. Gray's right. Divine Luck is strongly influenced by the intentions of the user. That is why I brought the voids together for one purpose, to revive Matsurutsuro. Despite the countless calculations I made, there was still a lot of complications. I had to borrow Divine Luck slightly. Just by the voids participating in the plan, the amounts of Divine Luck is significantly increased, and the chance of my plus success would increase as well. It's like a human totem pole. So with just disposable things being used as a battery to give you Divine Luck. That's right, why else would I keep you around? Do you honestly think we were friends, colleagues? You should have known your place. That's awful. Well, why were just them chosen then? You just said that Utsuro helped a bunch of people. Hajime, Emma, Iroha, and Nike. What's so special about them? What's so special about them? Literally nothing. They were just my only option. Is that really it? There was nobody left in the children of Utsuro aside from the voids. It's just them. The rest died. What? Master Utsuro couldn't help them all. No matter how desperate they were, or what problems they had in their lives. Those poor children living in hell without the help of Divine Luck's fortune. I simply helped them. As everybody here knows, Master Utsuro's death was the death of Divine Luck. When Divine Luck disappeared, the original fate of the people under Divine Luck's protection began to return. The children who got everything they wanted thanks to their fortune suddenly lost everything. So everyone who gained from Master Utsuro lost it. In the cases of children who had their lives saved, they died. In one way or another, they all returned to their personal hell, and for people whose lives weren't directly saved, they couldn't take it or took their own lives. It's been several years since Master Utsuro estimated death. They were bound to be desperate. What about Void? Are they still alive? That's where my theory to a total amount of Divine Luck they received comes from. There was 5 children, including myself, who Divine Luck was imprinted deeply on. Unlike most of the others Master Utsuro protected, we still have some protection left, as we revived more power than the others. If I had a choice, I would have chosen some competent people instead of this lot. Especially Iroha here. What? So that's why I brought 4 people who were saved by Utsuro from Void. In part, it was because of Nike, who felt the crisis occurring and hadn't already gathered the other 3. It was quite easy to get them to agree. They were all ever so desperate at the time. It is true that if my plan succeeds, the power of fortune will return. And whilst doing that, you secretly use the voids as sacrifices. I feel no sympathy for you. That's incorrect. Look at it from this perspective. They would have died anyway if the protection of divine love completely disappeared. Their body would simply die. I assure you that the voids agreed to risk their lives. I don't think they have any regrets about what happened. Shut up, you big fat liar. What's next then? Is that all? Are the children of Utsuro the only members of the Void organization? I don't think that's the case. There's another right here in this courtroom with us. I'm talking about her. Tsurugi's saying that there's another person working for Utsuro. It's talking about... Akane Taira? What is... Here. Akane Taira. That's who you're referring to, right, Utsuro? Right, Tsurugi? As far as I'm aware of, Akane Taira is the person closest to Utsuro. While investigating his hacking skills, the human Mikado discovered Utsuro's whereabouts, but could never keep track of them. Akane Taira is the only child Utsuro helped to manage to successfully reunite with him. Sora? But Tsurugi, Akane Taira is still in the real world. Furthermore, she is in a vegetative state. The only reason you can walk here is because of the virtual world. Vegetative state? What are you talking about? I don't understand how Akane Taira's body survived the destruction of the lab, or how her body is still functioning. But I found the presence of her in a medical records in a hospital, and I even discovered she vanished a few months ago. You found her hospital records. You wouldn't have even known she had been taken to a public clinic. It was a blind spot. Due to the tragedy, unknown patients was a common occurrence. If you want to hide a tree, put it in a forest. There were tons of early to mid-20s patients who were unconscious. We just didn't realize it was Akane Taira. What are you talking about? To put it simply, it was Mikado Sanonji that took Akane Taira from the hospital a few months ago. No, it would be more accurate to say it was Shobai, acting as a representative of Mikado. Am I wrong, Mikado? Tsurugi, you're incredible. You got it all right without me having to correct you. And that is the second of the three important pieces of information I mentioned previously. The fact that Sora is the presence of Akane Taira. Shobai, you kidnapped Akane Taira. Wait, Shobai. Is that why you didn't know about my identity as Akane Taira? What are you talking about? Well, it definitely seemed like that based on what he said on the 5th Islands. And there is this whole thing. Yeah. While he reminisces, I'm gonna take a bite of my bread. It got super crunchy, I like this recipe. Oh goddamn, I'm munching. Hold on. Excuse me. Shobai said that Mikado was trying to hide information about Akane Taira. If Tsurugi's story is correct, then it doesn't make sense for him to say that. Well, it's true that I abducted Akane Taira from the hospital as requested. However, back then I didn't know the identity of the one we had abducted. You abducted someone you didn't even know. Told you all before, I don't look into things, I don't need to, I just do as I'm told. All my employer told me to do was to kidnap a woman in a hospital. That's what I did. I got enough info to do my job, so there is no reason to look deeper into it. The only thing I knew about Akane Taira is that she was related to the 79 class killing game. Wait, didn't Iroha say something similar? That the voice didn't know about Akane Taira's involvement? Yeah. So it's true. What Shobai said about hiding Akane Taira's existence is true. All information related to her was only known by Mikado. What's the point of that? Akane Taira was the closest person to Utsuro, so why hasn't she involved in the plan? That's correct. Akane was not involved in my plan to revive Utsuro. Don't you mean Akane Taira? Well, I don't know who this Akane is. We're talking about Akane Taira. We're bringing some weirdo called Akane all of a sudden. Like, well, what are you talking about, Mikado? Oh, there it is. However, finally making sense. The cure called Akane Taira was still needed. What? I would explain it to you, but I'm quite tired of spouting exposition. So unfortunately I can't tell you. That's ridiculous. Do you want us to figure out your plan or not? Remember, this is a class trial. We have another things to do here. The reason Sora was brought here will be discussed later. Let's move on. Yuki Maeda. Huh? You're the protagonist of the story, so of course you should come first. The third of my important piece of information is regarding Yuki Maeda. It's so obvious. Is that you're trying to revive Utsuro using Yuki's body because of their similar brain structure? Oh, is that so? So I don't need to explain where or who Yuki was, or why he's being imprisoned by Master Utsuro Nakane. What? Utsuro Nakane Tari imprisoned Yuki Maeda. We're all aware that Master Utsuro replaced Yuki using the power of Divine Lock in order to infiltrate Hope's Peak. During the process of this, Master Utsuro raided Yuki's home and killed his entire family, and kidnapped him, of course. What? Do you remember? The motive video on the third island you received. It showed your house, and what happened to your family. What? Master Utsuro is someone who spares no blood and no tears. Yuki's mother and father were living peacefully. It's a scene that couldn't be witnessed without tears. The Maeda family was so happy and innocent in their everyday lives until... That's enough! That's enough? I didn't try to make me stop. How dare you tell Yuki such a horrid thing? If it is so horrid, then why'd you do it? Sora killed Yuki's family. Master Utsuro's will is my own. Master Utsuro's will is my own. That was the creed of Akane Taira. She was just a tool to Master Utsuro. It's not an unreasonable act. I'd have done the same. But you of all people are the one who to say that to Yuki. After everything that you did to him, you ruined his life. Sora? Yuki is now at... It's not what? Please finish. Are you still trying to deny who you are? You can't wash divine luck away so easily. It doesn't matter how hard you try to wash away the sins of your past, your hands will be dirty forever. Just stop. You don't get to speak to Sora like that. Nobody cares you, so just shut up. Yoroko, how love has blinded you for nonsense. You must be blind to believe that Sora is the sweet, pure girl you think she is. I might be. Yoroko, you read all the documents you left. Everyone here knows that Sora did with Utsuro and the path she chose. So you're going to keep covering for her? I'm not covering anything. I believe that Sora isn't the same person she was back then. I'm not trying to bury the past, but I'm willing to tie a knot over Akane Taira. We'll talk about it when we're done here. Good, since you are a rational person after all. Sorry about that. She's right, the past is the past. You shouldn't judge someone on their past mistakes. You really are a scumbag. Yuki, it's fine. I can't handle it. I'm not the only one suffering here. First, we need to get out of this situation. Going back to the topic at hand, Master Utsuro Nakane imprisoned Yuki in a hidden space without anybody else knowing. They left him alone on life support. Life support? It's a magic machine that assists with vital functions. It was initially developed for people whose body can't function on its own. Yuki couldn't live without it. That's not the important part. Why did Mr. Utsuro keep Yuki alive? He could have just killed him. If he wanted to replace Yuki, why didn't he just kill him along with his family? Well, I'm not sure about that myself. Perhaps he predicted a series of events and left Yuki alive in hopes that somebody would revive him. You have no right to say that. Moving on. After that, I ordered Shobai to secure Yuki. The children of Utsuro, Akane Taira and Yuki Maeda, they were all chess pieces to my grand plan. Unlike my human counterparts, I was able to achieve all of this while he had so many limitations. Before obtaining Yuki's body, he tried implementing the plan to resurrect Master Utsuro. Of course it wasn't easy. There were so many trials and errors, various corrections and corrections. Trials and errors. Even before now, there have been a lot of similar attempts, which were all stopped by the Foundation. They all put lives at risks. They were all supposed to be reminiscent of the similar to previous mutual killing games. Killing games? Why were they all killing games? Why would anyone do something as terrible as a killing game? Why is Mikado so obsessed with killing games? It's gotta be because of that. Because of that? I will speak 79 class. Had to be a killing game, to make sure you had the same experience Utsuro had. That's the reason. Correct. The last experience of Master Utsuro's entire life was his 79 class killing school trip. To synchronize the structure of Yuki's brain with Master Utsuro, they must go through similar experiences. Experience is important. It's not just about overriding the brain data. No matter how much data is added to your memory, it would always be someone remembering an event they didn't experience themselves. Memory, data, experience. Oh, 3D. Ah! What happened, Sora? Are you okay? Yeah, it's nothing. And after various trials and errors, I finally realized what was missing. I was skipping an important step. I was skipping an important step. What step? The discomfort feeling I felt during the investigation is growing. My memories as a Akane Taira, my experience as a Akane Taira. No, it's not important. Right now I need to focus on what is in front of me. That's all. Now stop debate again with this. After obtaining Yuki, I began to test my plan and carry it out in the real world. Of course, I used Yuki's real body for this. Master Utsuro's personality was created using Alter Ego. This was to implant the Alter Ego into his human brain. His real body and the Alter Ego must be synchronized, as in the same mental state. I have no clue what you're on about. In simple terms, his brain is in the virtual world and his body is in the real world. The structure of his brain wouldn't change no matter the conditions. That's ridiculous. It's an impossible feat to pull off. Da-pa-pa-pa-da-pam. Da-da-da-dum. Ba-da-da-pam-pam. You're wrong, Yuki. There is technology already created that makes it possible. The virtual world we're in right now is the technology itself. Well, I know this world is an impressive tech, but transplanting one's brain and turning that into a whole other person. This is not just an ordinary virtual world. The New World Program, that's the name of this virtual world. The New World Program? Well, the scientific name for this the scientific name for it is the Psychotherapeutic Communication Simulator. It was created by the ultimate programmer, the ultimate neurologist, the ultimate therapist, among many others. It's a it is a special virtual device. Just tie me up into a knot. It's a special virtual world which you would call the essence of all Hope Speak Academy students. I don't understand why a program like this is being used in your plan. It's simple, he just stole it. He stole it? The New World program is a computerized device that was used as a part of Hope's Peak Restoration program, but Hope's Restoration program by the Future Foundation in the past. The Future Foundation intended to use this to reintegrate the Ultimate Despairs. Oh, you know about the Future Foundation plans. That's quite confidential information. How do you know about that, Ruby? Any reason I should tell you? Future Foundation, Hope Restoration Program, Ultimate Despairs. I have no idea what you're talking about. It's not important right now. It happened a long time ago. The important thing is that it's possible to replace memories of people inside the New World program. What are you talking about? Ray, you're talking about the personality override. Personality override? Monochrome mentioned it before. Junko Enoshima tried to override her personality onto people. No, that's completely ridiculous. To override someone's personality, it can't be possible. It might sound made up, but it's been scientifically proven that synesthesia affects the brain. Mikado Sanonji, he's tried to use this to override Yuki's brain with Utsura's personality. That's nonsense. It's easy to explain, but not as simple to put into action. Many prerequisites are required in order for the personality override to work. You need perfect brain coordination. Brain coordination, is that why you did the killing game reenactment? That is correct. I needed to mimic the events that happen in reality. So I prepared a killing game based within the New World program. And that's the killing school trip. And that's the killing school trip you're all right now. In fact, Sora, who has experienced both the Killing School trip and the 79 class killing game, should recognize this. Excuse me. That the Killing School trip was unnatural and flows similar to the 79 class killing game, not 100%. Additionally, making the stage of the game in a virtual world worked as a tremendous merit. Naturally, the restriction that I needed to use Shobai for were decreased significantly. The story setting is something that is so important to the killing game recreation was finally achievable. Story setting? The 79 class killing game Master Utsura wasn't a killing game between ordinary students. It was a killing game between ultimate students. Ah, that's right. In order to perform a perfect recreation, Yuki himself had to believe he was a student at Hope Speak Academy. Due to the setting in the story, the character had to be ultimate students. Wait, that's a contradiction. We're not ultimate students. Teria said that Hope Speak was shut down a long time ago. We're not ultimate students. Yuki's right, Hope Speak no longer exists. Therefore, Mikado decided to bring them as substitutes. The next generation symbols of hope. Yuki's right, the 79 class was last Hope Speak Academy class. That's why Mikado used the next generation symbols of hope instead of ultimate students. Next generation symbols of hope? What is that? The next generation symbols of hope is a term used to describe the people who contributed greatly to society's restoration work. It's not an official title, but is a common term used by general public. It was spread widely through the use of social media and the internet. But their talent is real. In fact, the idea of universalism of Hope Speak Academy spreads like wildfire in this country. Even if you're not a Hope Speak student, you can still be talented. The next generation symbols of hope prove this. The talent was hidden because the Hope Speak Academy began to reignite due to the lack of ultimates. So is Yorko a symbol of hope? Well, yeah, I wasn't aware that it was, but apparently so. Next generation symbols of hope were kidnapped for the plan. Yuri Kagarin, Satsuka Chibukuro, the Otonokoji twins, Shinji Kasai, and Yoriko Kabuya, those 6 people. We needed others beside the voice for the plan. Strictly speaking, my mother Kokoro also had talents comparable to be called a symbol of hope. However, because she remained hidden to perform her secret experiments, it would have been difficult for her to be recognized as the next gen. Yuki? Why are you staring at me? It's nothing, but there is a mention of the next generation symbols of hope. They were adults, not students. So how old are you actually? Yoriko is... Enough, why is my age that important? Wait, I was just curious, and if all the next generation symbols of hope are adults, how could they replace the ultimate students? Oh. So that's why they manipulated our memories. Well, Yuki figured out something himself. You're right, Yuki. The body we had during the game is an avatar created by the virtual world himself. That's why our memories and physical appearance are back to how they looked in high school. If it took place in the real world, it would have been impossible to pull off such a feat. Ultimate students are not just their talents, their age is important too. But since we're in a virtual world, it was possible to manipulate everyone's memories, and even make their appearance change to recreate the killing game perfectly. Hold on, that's not all. I know that the next generation symbols of hope, including myself, had the status of being talented, but Mikado, out of 6 people you mentioned here, that is one with a special talent. Out of the 6 people, symbols of blood, who got a special talent? It's gotta be. One with a special talent. I mean, is that a Setsuka? Yoto no Koji or Yuri? I'm gonna say Setsuka. It was Setsuka. You're right, I remember now, it's Setsuka. She was supposedly hired by the Kisaragi Foundation. But Setsuka was working for the Kisaragi. No, she wasn't working for the Foundation, but she was hired by the Foundation, similar to Shobai. Setsuka was a private investigator. Not only that, each of the next generation symbols of hope has a connection to the 79th class of Hope's Peak Academy. In addition to their talents, he specifically kidnapped people with a connection to them. Symbols of hope have a connection to the 79th class. That's the first I've heard of this. Can you explain, Akane? Well, for example, Yoriko has a relation to Kizuna Tomori since she worked with her mother. Minako? Wait, do you know Minako? We do know her. Minako is currently working at the Kisaragi Foundation in the intelligence team of the administrative department. Seriously? Minako works for the Kisaragi Foundation too. You are still alive. You're not the type of person to die easily, big sis. In addition to that, Shinji was the one who saved Kanata Inori from the accident her parents died in. Yuri hired me as a maid on a business trip when I was just a child. Yes, I recall hearing that before. Hibiki Otonokoji and Kanade Otonokoji, the twin sisters from the famous band Melody Rhythm. There was multiple accounts of people's disappearances of people close to them. Although they were both found innocent, they were still questioned often. About that, I wouldn't say one of them was innocent. She was a serial killer with over 16 kills. 60? I knew it was so suspicious. How come there was no evidence left at the crime scenes? Guess you're a little incompetent. We can't arrest people there's no evidence, that's the law of this country. Curses. I must catch her somehow. Don't worry about that, Kanade is already dead. On the topic of Kanade, why did Mikado bring such a crazy murderer into the plan? Oh, there really isn't a reason for it. One sec. I didn't even know about Kanade's crimes. Oh. I didn't even know about Kanade's crimes. Let's click it out of the game. You didn't know. Bullshit! If you're able to use information for the entire internet, surely find some information on Kanade. You think I'm lying? I only brought the twins here because they were interrogated by Tsurugi himself. Of course I did suspect something was wrong since the police was constantly questioning both of them. Even my internet searching wasn't perfect. I could probably have found out if I really tried. But it was not important to me. I would never have imagined that a famous guitarist would be a serial killer. That's nothing better than some shocking twist to make the Guinness school trip more exciting, right? Actually, I was a bit worried about another sudden murder, but that little crack didn't affect the plan too much. So, you're scared of her? What was that? Nothing. You want a connection with the 79 class of Speak, so that's why you're looking for Yotaro. Is that why you choose Satsuka Chibukuro? Because she was hired by the Kizaragi Foundation. And that foundation is run by the 79 class. Well, strictly speaking, in Satsuka's case, the timing just happened to conveniently overlap. The Kizaragi Foundation asked her to find Mikado Sanoji and the others, so she approached us on her own. Unfortunately, Satsuka wasn't a capable investigator or detective, so she was easily caught. She became the next generation symbol of hope due to the power of her eye transplant. She was easily captured by Shobai, who turned the tables on her. Satsuka met the conditions for the killing game, and she was a symbol of hope. And she accidentally fell into Mikado's hand because of her Kizaragi Foundation request. But isn't Yuri's case a little different? I don't think so. Even the wielder of divine luck, Master Utsuro, didn't know how it functions. What's that got to do with Yuri? I was lucky when I ordered Shobai to kidnap Yuri. Because at that moment, Shobai was able to obtain something that was essential to the plan. Something essential for the killing game. If it's got something to do with Yuri, they must be talking about them. Monochrome! You're talking about Monochrome. Monochrome? What's it got to do with this? The AI used for space flight support developed by the Kagarin Corporation, ironically named Yuri. That's the true identity of Monochrome. Huh? Kagarin Corporation made Monochrome? Well, I can't say yes, but you're not entirely wrong. Does everybody here remember Monokuma? How could I forget? Many people were killed because of those things, at least now they're all gone. So far, several killing games have been hosted by Monokuma. The killing game itself is related to the ultimate despair, so that's obvious. But now the despair has subsided to some degree, and the Monokumas have disappeared. That's why I was so interested in the Kagarin Corporation. But why is that necessary? If you're playing to stage the killing game instead of the virtual world, you could just create your own host character. No matter how incredible I am as an alter ego, it's not that easy to create artificial intelligence from scratch. It's possible if you invested a lot of time into it, but I needed to use the AI as soon as possible. I was running out of time during the prep process, so it was the more efficient option. So, what exactly did you do? I'll explain that later. In any case, if I already have a high-performance AI, I was made by the Kagarin Corporation, we would make things much easier. By resetting its memory and manipulating the AI personality data, I was able to make Monochrome similar to Monokuma. So Yuri has nothing to do with the existence of Monochrome. So is that all? Or is there something else? That's it. It was just an AI stolen and modified to be used as the killing game host. Being a host gives you the same authority as me inside the New World program, so I couldn't just let it roam around, really. But now the killing game is over, and Monochrome is gone. But now that I know the Kizaragi Foundation hired Setsuka, one thing worries me. You also said that the Foundation hired Shobai as a double agent, right? Why hire Setsuka if Shobai has already provided you with information? It's quite the opposite, Yukimada. Earlier when I explained Setsuka, you said that it was Shobai who captured her, correct? If I had hired both of them at the same time, that wouldn't have happened. So you're saying that... Yes, I hired Setsuka before Shobai. At the moment Setsuka was caught, I then discovered the existence of Shobai Hashimoto. I was the first test hiring investigator. To be honest, we the intelligence team decided to hire her, and the other branches approved of it. Setsuka's hiring was known for the entire foundation compared to Shobai. Yes, it didn't take long to find her whereabouts. But by the time the rescue was planned, there was nothing I could do. The foundation had no other choice. That's why I decided to cover up Setsuka's disappearance. In order to hide your deal with Shobai. Setsuka always reported her investigations to me. In her last communication with me before she vanished, I felt a sense of incongruity. At the moment she was captured, I noticed that the person I was chasing was a different person entirely to Mikado's energy. After hiding information obtained, I secretly met with Shobai Hashimoto. Was that so? As if I heard of such a thing. No matter what to discuss, Shobai seems to always be involved. So we had a little fun while kidnapping Setsuka, Shobai. You know what Shobai reminds me of all of a sudden? He somehow reminds me of Luxord from Kingdom Hearts. Because Luxord is slowly become someone important to the whole series. It's not important right now, it's just, I don't know, Shobai kind of reminds me of Luxord. Well, I'm not angry with you. In the end, it was my mistake to put such trust in you. It seems that Mr. Kinjo here and Shobai are both very dangerous people. If not for the power of divine luck, my plan could be completely If not for the power of divine luck, my plan would be completely ruined. Well, I think it's about time now. So what do you all think? How does it feel now you face the truth? Any new realizations? What? It's so abrupt. Don't you remember what's supposed to happen next? You give a final verdict by going on over all the information we discussed during the trial. Ta-da! Then we clear the class trial. Huh? What? Settle down, Iraha. They all worked so hard to find out the entire plan. You found the truth of Terry's death, the truth of the Kizaragi Foundation, and the truth of Shobai. Is there still something missing? Does little Iroha know something that I don't? Nope, definitely not. It's over. Why does it feel so sudden? Because it's been less than 1 hour and a half. It's been a little bit over of 1 hour and a half. Minigames aside, so yeah. The last class trial was how long? 2 hours and a half? With minigames and me rambling? This class trial is gonna be 1 hour less. Yes, that's all. You all have my thanks. Without you all, Yuki wouldn't have figured out everything, even if he investigated. It's over? Is it really over? All of Mikado's plan has been revealed, but the problem is that it doesn't change the current situation at all. And above all else, there still seems to be something we don't know. Did you just say that it's about time? What do you mean by that? It's as if you planned out this entire discussion. Please refrain from speculation. I only propose the final try of clearly correctly. That's it. That's ridiculous. We still have lots more to discuss. What about Kanetaira and Nutsuro? That's not relevant to the trial. Talking about it is just a waste of time. We already enjoying the trial that much that I want it to end. That... I know it might be sudden, but... Sora, can you please do the honors? Me? Why? Isn't it tradition for you to do the closing arguments in the trials? Clarifying the case is even more necessary since we're solving the whole truth here. Of course, you're not obliged to. We can always skip it if you wish. I don't want to do what Mikado says, but he's right. This class trial isn't just about simple murder, it's about a complicated plan that spans multiple years. So summarizing everything we discussed might help everyone out. Alright, I'll put everything investigated and what we discussed at the trial together. And hopefully after that, this dim atmosphere will go away. Closing arguments, no. It's manga! It's a manga strip. And since I have a skill that allows me to cheat, I will use it. It's not like I have a choice. First one. A few years ago, Alter Ego Kisaragi's backup data was viewed by someone. While reading through Alter Ego Kisaragi's stolen data, Mikado realized that Utsuro is dead. Mikado conceives a plan to revive Utsuro as an alter ego. Kokoro Kurokawa teamed up with Mikado to help create an alter ego. What is that one? This one? Kokoro Kurokawa was the mother of Mikako Kurokawa, the ultimate exorcist of Hope Speak Academy. Utsuro's model was based on experimental data from Kokoro's daughter. That's who the alter ego was supposed to be for. Utsuro. However, due to an excessive emotional confusion, the alter ego went rogue and started thinking by itself. Where is it? In the end, he hired a broker to kill Mikado. After being freed, the alter ego began to search networks from around the world to collect information from the plan. The real Yuki, who was kidnapped by Utsuro, is confined somewhere. After kidnapping the real Yuki, Utsuro disguised as him. It's concluded that the killing game he experienced must be reproduced. Which one was that? Which one is that? It's all so tiny. Is there another one? Oh no, it's this one. You should, like, in my screen, you have no idea. Like, in my screen, these things are very tiny. It's difficult to read sometimes, it's difficult to see tiny little squares. That's why sometimes I stutter. Sometimes it's just my own incompetence, but majority of the time it's just like the tiny little letters. Just fumbling around in weird sentences and typos. The children of Utsuro was added to the killing game, Hoster, chicken, in order to fill out the spots. Line up. The alter ego stole a virtual world called the New World Program to use as a stage for the plan. The other people placed in the New World Program were next generation symbols of hope, because they had relevance to the previous Ultimates and were talented. To transform the next generation symbols of hope into Ultimate students by returning their minds and bodies back to the high school days. After all the preparations were complete, the Killing School trip began. Wonder if you'll see Yuki's real body, because that isn't Yuki's real appearance. Act 1. It all started a few days ago, when someone read the alter ego Kisaragi backup data kept by the Foundation. The one who read this data was Mikado Sanoji, someone who was saved by Utsuro in the past, and has been searching for him since childhood. Alter ego Kisaragi had data on the entire 79 class killing game. It was at that moment that Mikado realized that Utsuro was dead. He made his new mission to resurrect Utsuro, so he started the Killing School trip. Usually, reviving the dead is impossible. However, Mikado, using his hacking expertise, collected information about Utsuro and devised a plan to use that knowledge. And that plan was to resurrect Utsuro as an alter ego in a virtual world. But alter ego is an advanced technology and can only be created by Ultimate students, so it was impossible for Mikado to create an alter ego with this ability alone. Because of this, he decided to collaborate with someone with excellent abilities compared to that of an Ultimate student. It was Kokoro Kurokawa, who we met as Kokoro Mitsume during the killing game. Kokoro performed experiments on her daughter in order to study primitive emotions in the past. Her daughter was part of the 79 class of Hope Speak, the ultimate exorcist Mikako Kurokawa. Even after she escaped confinement, There was still data being recorded for Mikako until the day of her death, all stored in Kokoro's computer due to a computer chip implanted in her brain. From this data, along with the information of the 79 class killing game Anutsuro, Mikado created the alter ego base. But there was something Mikado overlooked. It was extremely difficult to create an alter ego of someone else. So Mikado first decided to create his own alter ego, and thanks to Kokoro inserting an excessive infusion of emotions into it, the alter ego began to run wild, and saw that human Mikado's plan will not succeed. Alter ego made plans to deal with his real self, and hired Shobai to work as his body. And so he ordered Shobai to kill Mikado. When his jammer disappeared, Alter ego began to make serious plans. It was at this point that it became impossible for the Kisaragi Foundation to track Alter ego down, and nobody could stop him. Alter ego searched networks from all around the world and collected a large amount of information to help with his plans. He discovered information about Yuki, who was kidnapped by Utsuro in prison somewhere. Utsuro went to Hope Peak instead of Yuki, so the two bodies had many similarities. That's why he kidnapped Yuki, who was currently on life support, and attempted to resurrect Utsuro using his body. She was so tiny, I don't remember she being so tiny. Like, this is the ultimate cheerleader. I mean, the ultimate surgeon was really a short little girl, but I don't remember the cheerleader being tiny. I thought she was like base height level with everyone else. Yeah, I thought she was like average. Even though she's kinda leaning, she's kinda going to the side, but she was so tiny, what the hell? In order for Yuki to become Utsuro, Alter Ego created a plan to synchronize Yuki's brain. The plan was for Yuki to have a similar experience to the one Utsuro had. Specifically, to recreate the 79 class killing game, and infuse Yuki with that experience. And for that, he needed students to participate in the killing game. Furthermore, to maximize the power of Divine Luck, Alter Ego brought together people who gained fortune from Divine Luck. The children of Utsuro. Utsuro C.O. Okay, also known as Void. Utsuro Ko. Even if the plans were made, it still wasn't an easy process to bring Utsuro back to life. After lots of trial and error, Alter Ego finally came to the conclusion that he had to use a virtual world. To do this, he stole the New World program from the Future Foundation. He modified the already created virtual world and turned it into Utsuro-shima, the perfect setting for an alter ego. With the stage set, Alter Ego began to gather the remaining participants. All the participants had something in common. They were all seen as symbols of hope, and they had to have some connection to the 79 class of Hope Peak Academy. In the virtual world, everyone's bodies and memories were manipulated so they believed they were in Hope Peak freshmen. And with this, the recreation of the 79 class killing game began, and we, who knew nothing about this, began to doubt and ultimately kill each other. Well, not really. I mean, we didn't exactly start killing each other, it was more like the Voids started killing people. And then Hibiki decided to, not Hibiki, Kanade. The Kanade decided to ride the freight trail of death and do it a little bit more. But mostly it was the Voids killing people. If anything, no one of the innocent people did anything bad. They were just vibing. Skinny game was bullshit. Complain. Okay, let's just go on. Leave it for the end. Thanks to the efforts of the Voids and the power of Divine Luck, the plan went smoothly. All controlled by will of an alter ego. The Skinny school trip was all controlled by the alter ego calling himself Mikado Sanoji, the culprit of our suffering. Yeah, it was perfect. didn't even have to cheat or anything, it was just perfect. Brilliant, perfecto. There is truly nobody who can compare to dear Sora. Shit. We were supposed to figure a way out while pretending to go along with Mikado's plan. But the trial's over and I still don't have a clue. I wonder what Mikado's going to do to us after this. He said he wouldn't harm us, but we don't have any guarantee that's true. What's going to happen now? Is the trial really over? I still don't get it. Why doesn't covering the truth change for us? Is it important to face the truth, Yuki? Although, as you said yourself, it doesn't seem important at first glance. But it's not the content that matters, but the step itself. It's like going to a party. It doesn't matter what you eat or drink, because it's about the experience. And it always sucks. The same is true for the class trial. Yep, it sucks. It sucks. A lot of people are gonna cry, some people are gonna get sick. There's a high chance of death, and it's probably gonna be one of your friends. Isn't it much better to know the truth and see the ends, rather than see the ends and know nothing? That's what I don't get. The class trial is important, but why? Hey, if it is done, can we move now? Move on? What are you talking about? That's right. Everyone, don't rush the story, your sunset will soon arrive. I did notice that the time of day had changed on the window. Coincidentally, since the installation was finished at the same time. Installation? Care to explain? Something just appeared in the air. What is this? The wait is now over. From now on, the final stage of the kids' school trip begins. It's graduation time. Graduation? For all of you who have discovered the truth and cleared the class trial, I need one last thing from you. A pop-up should have appeared before you all, with an hologram dialog box. Please take a look. Graduation or repeat? What is this? Yes, I'll explain it to you all. This is the final step of the killing school trip, but it is a choice. I don't have a say in this. If you choose graduate, the killing school trip will end, and you all return to the real world. However, if you choose repeat, the killing school trip will go on forever, and you all remain in the virtual world. What? You're confused? But it's very simple. Then, are you asking us to choose one of them? Yes. You can also send the hologram window to your place, just select it from there. That's not the point, just what is it? Graduation repeat? What does it all mean? Why are you trying to revive Utsuro by putting him inside my body? But if we are forced to choose, isn't graduate the best option? Yes, then go ahead and choose graduation. If somebody wishes to stay in the virtual world, you can simply select repeat. Why would anyone want to do that? Let's just graduate. Wait, this is way too suspicious. Mikado's not the type of person to let us leave that easily. Even if you promise we won't get hurt, and that let us out of the real world safely. Letting us go won't help the revive from Utsuro. I agree. What? Everyone must choose repeat. This is a trap. A trap? What do you mean? Class trial, graduation repeats, personality overrides. It's all manipulation to achieve your goal. Yes, this is the only way. Tsurugi, you never explain exactly what Mikado Sanoji was trying to achieve. What do we know? Mikado Sanoji, that damn bastard, is trying to follow Junko Zanoshima's plan. Junko Zanoshima's plan? Junko Zanoshima's plan. You're talking about her plan for Junko Land, right? What the fuck is that name Junko Land? Well, not exactly Junko Land. What the fuck is Junko Land? What the hell came up with the name Junko Land? I read the top secret file from Fury Foundation, and there I learned that this so-called graduation exam is actually a personality override. What does graduation repeating have to do with overriding someone's personality? The New World program is not just a virtual world meant for enjoyment or personal use. As I said before, the New World program was created for the purpose of Hope Restoration Program. The New World program is capable of replacing memories. In the past, the people who were put into the New World program have been affected with an irreversible despair. The New World program made them live a happy daily life and turned those virtual memories into real ones. That was the purpose of the Hope Restoration Program. I don't think they have the full report of what happened there, but okay, let's go on. To replace real-world memories with fake virtual ones. It's done by overriding data from the virtual worlds onto a person's real-life brain in reality. So we select graduates and return to the real world. That means that everyone's data from avatars will be uploaded into the real world. So it's really a trap, but it's true that if you go back to a reality, our memories of the virtual world remain. So I don't really get how it's a trap. That itself is a trap. When the avatar data overrides the brain in the real world, those without avatars have no data to transfer to their brain. Those without avatars? You mean the deceased? The victims of this killing game. It's still sad, but it makes sense. If you die in the virtual world, you die for real. If you die in the game, you die for real too. But when you're overriding a dead person's brain, just do nothing. What if I told you there's something? What? Our avatars are basically a direct line to our brains in the real world. As long as your avatar is alive, even admins can manipulate the original owner's identity. However, if someone's avatar disappears and the data that was supposed to transfer to the owner's brain disappears, it works differently. In that case, the admin can modify and change the data as they wish, and you can override someone's brain in the real world. That means, yes, Junko Enoshima used this and created a killing game in order to kill the avatars in the New World program. And instead of inserting the data from the deceased avatars, she wanted to put her own alter ego inside of their brains. Fortunately, her plan failed. But what would have happened if it succeeded? The brains of the deceased people. Junko Enoshima tried to overwrite them. In other words, the personality of the original owner of the body would disappear and be replaced with Junko Enoshima's. What? Correct. That's the truth of the personality override feature. And the trigger for this is the graduation exam. I mean, the whole plot, the whole original use of the New World program was more for therapy. It was created for that, so that a little recap of what the original idea of the New World program was. It was used as a method of therapy to help heal the remnants of despair. They would reverse to a state where they wouldn't be affected by despair, that being during the high school years. During the high school years, before they even properly join a Hope Speak Academy, to tell the truth. And then they would live a quote-unquote normal life, where they would interact with each other, they would learn, they would just be friends, be normal kids for once. But slowly they would learn of the truth of the world. Like they would learn about Junko, they would learn about the disaster, they would learn who they actually were. And at the end, they would get to the point where they would face this kind of decision. They would go to something similar to a class trial. And everything they learned during the trip would be put in front of them. And then they would make the decision if they would graduate, accepting who they are, and understanding that they had a chance to recreate their own lives and become something new, or they would repeat the whole experience from zero. And until they all decided to graduate, they would be stuck in the New World program. Of course, that was the original use, and then Junko came up and the Junko virus. It wasn't exactly an alter ego, it was more like a virus. An alter ego turned into a virus. Infected the New World program, turned it into a killing game. And yeah, everything went to hell. But basically what they're saying here of Junko's original plan. The physical bodies of the people who died in the New World program during the Killing Game, their minds are dead, but their bodies are still alive. Unless Picado changed that somehow. So when the whole graduation thing supposed to begin, you open a gateway to the body that is stuck, the physical body that is stuck outside of the New World program, for them to receive the new information, like, oh, this is like the usual stuff. Today we receive the new information, override the old memories and become the new them. However, since the avatar is dead, the body is just as an open gateway with no information to get. So Junko wanted to create a clone of herself and use the gateway, and creates a Junko clone inside someone else's body. So instead of having like one Junko for the world to deal with, they would have at least 9 Junkos. Instead of 9 remnants of despair, no, just 9 pieces of despair itself, just wreaking havoc. Yeah, disgraceful. Apparently in this one, Mikado wanted to multiply Utsuro, is what I understood from this. Instead of having one Utsuro with divine luck going around, you have 9 of them. Wait, so Mikado's trying to follow her plan. That means he's trying to steal the bodies of everyone who had died so far. You joke are going too far, Tsurugi. It's quite on the contrary. Would you mind if I took my exposition roll back, please? I joke. I'll give you 60 points for effort. What Tsurugi just said is only half true. What are you talking about? Have you forgotten my purpose? Even from the beginning, Junko Enoshima made multiple copies of herself in order to cause the tragedy. As for me, I'm only trying to revive Master Utsuro. However, yes, it is true that I plan to use the personality override feature. There is only one person I want to override. I wouldn't have a use for so many bodies. That means, even if I select a graduate, my body will get stolen. Don't worry, Yuki, that's not gonna happen. I won't let it happen. Tsurugi. The solution is simple. The graduation system is only activated when over half the students select graduation, or repeats. The host Mikado doesn't get to vote, meaning that excluding him, the majority vote is 7. So if 4 or more people vote repeats, the personality override won't occur. But if you do that, correct, Yuki's personality will be saved, however you will all be trapped in this virtual world forever. I don't like that. Careful, once you choose, there's no taking it back. After the graduation exam concludes, the New World program loses its function, there is literally nothing left. We must sacrifice ourselves for Yuki. I hate this. Why'd I have to die for him? It's not even family, it's nothing to me. What? I'm sorry, but there's nothing we can do. If it's any consolation, you won't die. You won't die. If it is any consolation, you won't die. You simply remain forever here in the virtual world. You just remain forever in a blank space of nothingness. Even time will be trivial. No, please, I don't want that. Shut up, criminal scum. The war with Mikado was the cause of their death, so you must pay the price. But why me? I'm a victim here. I'll die too. I'm actually okay with that. You're going to abandon me too. I didn't say that, This isn't just to save Yuki. You have to think about the big picture. Think about it. If we choose graduate, Utsuro will be resurrected. He has divine luck. A cursed power that shouldn't be allowed to exist in this world. It causes suffering for too many people. That thing should never come back. Even if it cost me my life, I'll land that goddamn luck. Okay, who said us? Okay, dial back a bit again. Sorry for interrupting again. No one said divine luck causes suffering. Okay, divine luck was used by Utsuro to do whatever he wants. And because he had apathy, he didn't care about whatever the thing he wanted. Utsuro only went bad because he managed to fall into the hands of Junko. But there is no Junko anymore. There is no Junko to tell Utsuro to go and convince Utsuro to, like, you know, this pair is cool, this pair is fine, this pair is dandy. How about that? There is nothing like that anymore. So, you know, maybe having someone with a reality, having a real X-Men doesn't sound so bad. I mean, goddamn, I wanna live in WandaVision. I mean, not the bad parts, but the good parts were cool. I want my WandaVision, baby. Have you abandoned saving Yuki in order to prevent my master's resurrection? And on top of that, you're going to abandon the 8 people here for the greater good of the world. Ray, you should know what will happen if you came back. You get resurrected here. I know, I'm already prepared to give my life. But we'll be able to persuade the rest. Please, there has to be another way. Sora. I'll also tell you this. It's not just Yuki who disappeared when you graduate, someone else will too. Sora. What? In reality, Sora is, or rather, Akane Tari is brain dead. She's only able to be physically here because it's a virtual world, the only place she can act as herself. Even if her avatar exists, the place her data is supposed to be stored doesn't exist. When this virtual world disappears, the person known as Sora will as well. Oh, that's right, her brain is down. In vegetable state. You don't have to worry about me. The only thing that matters is protecting Yuki. Sora. What should I do? Now I know my life is meaningless. I was prepared to sacrifice myself. When I returned to the real world, for a moment I saw Utsuro in my blurry consciousness. If I wanted to, I could just drop everything and lay myself to rest. However, I chose to come back here. Now that I think about it, what made me wake up? Why did I come back to this virtual world? To save Yuki? To save everyone? What should I do? I don't know. I can't bring myself to choose either. If we choose graduate, Yuki's personality will die, then Utsuro will take over. But the moment we press repeat, well, I'll be trapped in this virtual world forever. What a dilemma. There is no time limit, so take as long as you need. Mikado's so calm. That means I can't think of a way out. It's a graduation exam. It really was checkmate from the moment we stepped foot in these trial grounds. I can't choose either one. If I choose repeats, I could save my own life, but... No, wait. Mikado's purpose is to revive Master Utsuro. Then why? Why should we... What was that sound? Who just voted? Me, dipshit. Shobai? I want to get this over with quickly. This is honestly just becoming a big waste of my time. So, why did you choose? Huh? No shit at just graduation, I don't want to stay in this hellhole. You damn fool. It's only natural for Shobai to select graduates. Doesn't matter if this world has divine luck or not. If Yuki perishes or not, it's simply not his problem. That's... Eniroha's going to select it too. Me too, but... Shouldn't you want to graduate more than anybody else? You want the resurrection of Master Utsuro. Or rather, you want the protection of divine luck back. Or are you planning on suffering and selecting repeats? Are you going to stay here until you lose your mind? Or are you ready to make a decision? Yeah, that's right. That's why I joined Void in the first place. Bravo, 2 votes already. 2 more and the graduation process will begin. No, please, no. No, no. I wonder what the others will do. You don't even have to ask. Yeah. This is the only way to stop him. Oh, excellent. 2 people are willing to stay in the New World program just to prevent the return of Master Utsuro. So we now have 2 votes for graduation, 2 for repeats. Sora, Yuki, and Yoroko. The rest is up to you. So Yuki is gonna choose repeats, and Yoroko is gonna choose graduates. Going to be honest, I'm hesitant. I don't want to sacrifice myself for anything. But I don't have the right to sacrifice Sora and Yuki just for my own selfish desires. Am I doing the right thing? No, I can't hesitate. I have to do this. Yoroko. To be honest, I thought it'd be harder to convince you. You changed, Yoroko, Kabuya. Honestly, I don't know how bad Utsuru's returning would be. But I promise when I'll get out of here, you'll find another way. You don't have to stay here forever. I won't die too easily. As long as I'm still living, I'll force my open a way out of this. Out of myself. If everyone chooses graduate, Sora and Yuki will die. I couldn't live with myself, that was my fault. 2 votes for graduation, 3 for repeats. Sora, Yuki, if any of you selects repeats, the vote will conclude. Don't do that, are you crazy? I don't want to stay here forever. Please select graduation. No, don't pressure them, Iroha. If you all of people tell them to graduate, they might do the opposite. They might choose to graduate on their own. That's ridiculous. Graduation is basically suicide for them. They can't choose graduation. That's also true. What? Oh, this really is tense. But we really choose repeat. Sora? What is it? Thank you. Not just Sora, but everyone who's willing to sacrifice themselves. I know this is terrible. Because of me, nobody can go back to the real world. But you don't have to blame yourself. I'm in the same position. And, as Tsurugi said, we need to prevent the resurrection of Utsuro no matter what. Yes, I'm prepared for this. Even if I can go back to my daily life, I'll... No, are you going to press repeat? Please don't, wait. Hold on, Yuki. Can you wait a minute before you vote? What is it, Sora? There's something strange that intrigued me for a while ago. Do you feel it too? Something strange. Tsurugi said that Mikado intends to take over our bodies, using the personality override using the graduation. But is that really true? I understand your hesitance, but this program is based on the Future Foundation's model. It should work the same way. Based is the key word here. I'm sure the only way to use personality override is by over half the students pressing graduates. Then why is Mikado subtly encouraging us to choose repeats? Explain. Just think about it. If Mikado was truly planning to use the graduation exam to override the personalities, if we choose graduation, personalities will disappear. Why should he need to tell us that? That's incredibly suspicious. We surely can choose graduate, right? Regardless of Mikado's intents, Tsurugi has already explained what personality override does. Mikado was trying to hide that from us and didn't explain it first. Even so, he just admitted it so easily. If you look back at what we discussed so far, this is a well thought out, long-term, large-scale plan. Don't forget that Mikado dedicated his entire life to meeting Utsuro. If you consider his previous action, he's constantly lied and tricked us out before. You're onto something here. What benefit will he get from admitting all of that? Also, choosing repeat isn't something we should just do lightly. Everyone will be trapped here forever. But Tsurugi, Rei, and Yoroko have already chosen repeats. So if either I or Yuki choose repeats, Mikado's plan fails? But is that really true? Mikado's been working on this plan ever since he existed, so why would he leave an option where he fails? Sora, does that mean... Wait, you're not going to choose graduation, are you? If you do that, our personalities will disappear. I know that. That is still something. Sora, I assume you'll be the one to see out the incongruities. Incongruities? That's a big word. It's been used for a while, Iroha. First, allow me to argue back. I didn't remove the option to repeat, because it's essential. My plan takes advantage of using the New World program, so there was nothing I could do to prevent it. If I had just a little more time, maybe I would have changed it using my alter ego abilities. In part, my plan relies heavily on divine luck. It was necessary to put my plan into action as fast as possible, as so fortunes do not disappear. Another point, I'm not exactly encouraging you to press repeat. I'm just encouraging you to vote quickly. Quickly? Everyone except Sora and Yuki has already made their votes. I've already won. What are you talking about? You've won? Because you simply can't win at this point. Allow me to explain an additional rule I didn't mention before. What? There's something else. As you know, upon graduation Sora and Yuki's personalities will disappear. But if you press repeat, you return back to the virtual world. Isn't it so unfair? Or dear Sora and Yuki don't deserve to lose. Don't deserve a lose-lose situation. That's why I added an additional function. You could say I improved the graduation exam system. The moment the graduation is initiated, other survivors will gain the right to live happily ever after, in their own ideal world. What? In other words, when the personality override function is activated, you want to return to the real world. And if you press repeat, you remain in the virtual world. What? We'll stay in the virtual world? You said we get out of, we just graduate. No, he said you get to live your normal lives. Lies, you're a liar. So you're messing with us. The entire thing was pointless, so I'll be stuck here either way. If that's the case, there's no reason to cast your votes. Why are you acting so calm? If he's telling the truth, I'll be stuck here forever. It doesn't change anything. The press repeat is for you to remain in the virtual world trapped. And the press graduates to live happily ever after in your own utopia, the good ending. Or an utopia? What does that mean? Utopia. A utopia is a place where the heart desires. Instead of going to the real world, you go to a personalized paradise inside the New World program. It's a world with no pain or suffering, and you'll spend eternity with the people you have longed for the most. That's ridiculous. Why are you saying all this so suddenly? Besides, you won't just graduate, I want to choose graduate just for that kind of fantasy. But it's not a fantasy. As soon as the graduation exam ends, you lose all your memories and be perfectly immersed in your own utopia. You heard me correctly. You won't even remember that it's not real, and you won't be able to doubt it. You just have to sit back and relax in a world you desire for your entire lives. An ideal world? That makes no sense. This makes perfect sense. Yoroko, haven't you experienced it before? You never once doubted this place as fantasy when you lost your memory previously. You just accepted it as reality. Because your memories were modified, you never doubted your status as an ultimate student at Hope's Peak. You even forgot your own appearance. You didn't even question how this false information I manipulated. In fact, if Nike hadn't have intervened at all, you wouldn't have even suspected this world was virtual. It'll be the same. You'll be trapped in your own utopia. Forget everything except your fantasy. It'll be your happy ending. So we'll never be able to return to the real world. I think you're all mistaken. Why are you all so obsessed with what's real? Huh? Do you think it's natural for a human to live a life in reality? Suppose you all get out of here. What awaits you? The harsh truth of reality? What more is there for you? Financial problems, health problems, arguments, violence? What's reason instead that a human would choose to live in such a harsh reality? You're being ridiculous. I refuse to listen to such bullshit. Yuki, Akane, go and press repeat. Don't be fooled by this bastard's words. Yeah, Yoroko said it before. As long as you're out here, we'll find a way out. But is that really true? How long would it take us to find a way out? Yuki, Mikado's making sense. I actually believed this virtual world to be real until we heard the truth from Nike. If we really go to a paradise, I'll really go to a paradise. We forget everything. I'm going to be playing poker in heaven. Just like that. Wait, Yuki, it's a trap. Mikado's trying to trick us into graduating. If that happens, Utsuro will resurrect. But even if we just repeat, we will lose. If we just repeat, Mikado will lose too. Either way, we all lose. On the other hand, if we just graduate, Mikado gets what he wants. And wouldn't we all be satisfied anyway? Yuki, please think carefully about this. If you just repeat now, think about what will happen to your body. Mikado's just trying to trick you with sweet little lies into choosing graduation. I'm lying? I'm sure you're telling the truth. Your glorious utopia waits. You damn... I mentioned this at the start of the class trial. Do you remember what I said? I told you I'd return you all to your peaceful daily lives. No way. A kind of peaceful life is an utopia. The best one? But okay. It's the only way for Yuki to be happy. This is the case for the rest of you as well. I'm being serious here. For the rest of us? Yuki, I'll ask you this once, just in case. If you select repeat, you'll be stuck here in the virtual world without nothing left. And you're somehow going to try to find a way to escape to the real world. Suppose you do find a way out. What will you do after that? What will I do? Of course, I know that doesn't change the situation. We'll still be trapped in the lab, without enough food for all the Foundation agents. It'll be almost impossible to escape. However, the fact still remains. We can't let that monster Utsuro get resurrected. I wasn't asking you, I was asking Yuki. I wasn't asking you. I failed fucking... Okay. So, what are you gonna do? Well, I'd have my body back. And when everything settles down, I could try to return to my daily life. A demon! Oh dear, I apologize for that. Dear Yuki is so innocent, it's beautiful. What do you mean? I'll start with an apology. I'm sorry, Yuki. Even if you leave the virtual world, your plan would be impossible. What? As he said that, Mikado began to smile when suddenly a screen descended onto the courtroom. And as soon as he stopped moving, an image appeared. Well... shit. Well, this sucks. This is the body you want to go back to so much. Hey Sora! I turned myself into a pickle, Sora! I'm Pickle Brain! What? Is that a brain? Is that his brain? Well, it's not a gerbil. That's Yuki's brain in reality. Yes, I kindly asked Kokoro for a hand in the process. Even though you're just a brain, you're technically still alive. You're not dead, don't worry. He's only a brain, but he's alive? Theoretically, if a constant supply of nutrients is maintained to a brain, it'll be able to function normally. He's able to think, however he won't be able to see, speak, or even hear. He's barely human at this point. This can't be real. That brain is me. Now I can feel my hands, I can feel my body. Yeah, like there is a bunch of like phantom names. Yuki's current body is just an avatar. Its brain is brain-based, so he's able to feel those senses. Yuki's body in the real world, however, is a 1.5 kilogram chunk of meat. That's rude. That's bullshit, Yuki, don't listen to him. If I'm lying, how come Tsurugi and Rei weren't able to find Yuki's body in the lab? The answer is simple. Yuki's not accessing the New World program with connectors like you all. His brain is integrating into the machine itself. Yuki's brain is integrated into the New World program itself. What have you done? Without doing so, I would never be able to realize the power of divine luck inside the virtual world. Yuki's brain and Master Utsuro's brain have similar internal structures. As I planned to do everything inside the virtual worlds, I didn't need Yuki's body on the outside. So I destroyed it, leaving only the brain behind. Of course, since I don't have a body myself, I asked someone for help. Well, I was gonna say something worse, so... Shobai Hashimoto, you bastards! You knew all along! That's obvious. The biological part was done by Kokoro, and Shobai helped with the technical parts. You fucking bastards! The contract with science stated that you had to inform me of everything. This is why I despise criminals. What? You say I shouldn't have insurance policy? After all, you would have even come back if Yuki was basically dead. No, it can't be. That's not my body. Yuki, be conscious, he's lying, trust me. That's really true. Would it be a contradiction to override Utsuro's personality in Yuki's body? Huh? That's right. Mikado's been saying this entire time that Yuki's body is a vessel for Utsuro. If Yuki's body doesn't exist, he won't be able to revive Utsuro. When did I say I would override Yuki's body with Master Utsuro's personality? What do you mean? I never said I would use Yuki's body in the real world. The hypothesis that I'm planning to use Yuki's body is of your own assumption, and never directly confirmed or denied it. What? Then why? Why Yuki? Now before that, how are you going to revive Utsuro without Yuki's body? Yuki fits well with Utsuro's in the physical and brain timing, but is not protected by divine luck. All he needs is the container to hold him to have divine luck, their brain anyway. For Master Utsuro, I have prepared a body that would be much more suitable than an ordinary person like Yuki. More suitable body? Who is it? The person in the opposite position to Yuki. Yuki's all brain and no body. The person I'm talking about is someone with a body but a dead brain. Ah. So he's gonna insert Utsuro in Akane Taira's body. I mean, Akane Taira did plenty of physical feats on the first game, so I guess I can see why. There's only one person left who fits those conditions. It has to be them. Is it me? You wanna put Utsuro's mind into the body of Akane Taira. What? Correct. Didn't I say it before? I don't just want Yuki's body, I want Miss Taira too. Although brain dead, miraculously her body, her muscles, her organs, and her nerves are still functional. Yes, if we replace the software called the brain with a new one, it should be able to function again. Akane Taira was with Utsuro when he died, and was the closest person to him. Therefore, she would have been impacted by divine luck the most, meaning she'd be perfect fit for Utsuro's host body. Well, amongst other reasons, you pervert. After doing many calculations, I concluded that it would be for the best to override Miss Taira's personality with Master Utsuro's. Wait a minute then, what is Sora? Her brain's dead, meaning she couldn't have an avatar, so that's why you're choosing Akane's body. How is Sora here then? She's not Akane's avatar, just who is she? Are you asking about Sora's true identity? Yes, I think it's about time to reveal what she is. Sora is... she's basically nothing. Huh? Iroha probably know this, but during the preparation stages, I didn't reveal anything about Sora. I wasn't trying to hide anything, it's just because there was literally nothing to show. Sora's not human. She's just here to assist in the Master Utsuru's resurrection in the New World program. She's just an algorithm, so to speak. She's an NPC. She's not an alter ego, she's just a very smart NPC. What? She's an algorithm? Wait, so she's not a Kanetaira? Miss Tara has been dead for the very beginning. It's impossible to connect her to the New World program. Instead, I created a blank personality and placed her data inside there. Maybe Sora has already felt this, but her memories of being a Kanetara felt unusual. An algorithm? I'm just an algorithm. Did you ever have a strange feeling during the killing game? For example, feeling like your body's not your own, like it's moving on its own. What is the matter indeed? Kanade herself admitted it. The case has been solved, there shouldn't be anything wrong. But what is this feeling? I can't shake out this feeling that I shouldn't let the trial end like this. Like as if some unknown force is behind me. Why is this unsettling feeling? Now that Yuki has come clean, it's my turn. After I went up to the power room, we didn't see Yuki running away from the crime scene. The first thought that came to me was that I couldn't just let Yuki be blackened. What? I don't know why. Maybe it was from witnessing my friend commit murder. Or maybe it was something else. But I wasn't ready to let Yuki down just yet. Sora believed it was a Kanetara, and it's also possible that she attributed all those actions to Akane's personality. However, that's not the case. All of her actions were done to safeguard Master Utsuru's resurrection plan. That's the entire reason for her existence. She is an algorithm with a directive to assist the process of the killing school trip. Not a program, not even an alter ego. It's impossible for her to go against her default algorithm. An algorithm that safeguards the killing school trip. That's exactly what Sora is. But that can't be true. Sora? I don't understand. An algorithm? Isn't that just a program? Please explain. So is Sora an alter ego? She just said she wasn't. Idiotic. She's just an algorithm going by the name of a Kanetara in order to help the plan progress. That's literally all she is, nothing more, nothing less. The name Sora is just a temporary name that Yuki gave her, it's quite fitting. Calm down. Calm down. Did I know what I was from the start and what I had to do? I expect this. Odd memories as a Kanetara. My entire existence being a mystery. But the fact that I'm not human, and I'm just an algorithm to safeguard Master Utsuru's resurrection plan. Is that true? Then All programs act using algorithms, and the principle of those are determined by a default value. My body is simply a program algorithm. Yeah, I am just an AI. I have no emotions. I laugh, act gloomy, get angry, etc. Not because it is how I actually feel. It's because I am programmed that way. Everything I think and feel is fake. This isn't the time to worry, I must concentrate. I must save Sora. I am an algorithm called a Kanetara. I can't go against this, can I? I just have to press fail. Empty. No, everything's empty. I am a Kanetara. I am so empty. And she is going to despair. Hey, press repeat. How long are you going to stand there? If one of you press repeat, this all ends. Stop thinking about the future. Now just focus on stopping Mikado Sanoji. Unfortunately, that's not possible. Wasn't you listening? Sora's here to safeguard my plan. She will press graduation unconditionally. She's supposed to press it. Her algorithm tells her to do so. What? Sora, you... Huh. Why are you saying that? I need to press repeat. Stop Mikado, save Yuki. I'm kinda tired, what are you doing? You just press graduate. I did? No, I'm still myself. I'm going to save Yuki. Sora, please wake up, Sora. Excellent. 3 for graduating, 3 for repeat. It's a tie. Only 1 vote remaining. So what are you going to choose, Yuki? Shit. Yuki, listen to me. Don't believe him. If Utsuro comes back, the entire world will be in danger. No matter what, we must stop that. I can't. What? I'm tired of this world, of everything. Why me? Why do I have to carry such a burden? Why is everything down to me? Yuki. Doesn't matter what you say. In the end, Yuki is just an ordinary boy. His mind and spirit has already been shattered. He can no longer think rationally. You're the one who drove him to this. Sora, say something. We need to convince Yuki. Please, we need you. My mouth won't move. Not just my mouth, my entire body too. My thoughts aren't stopping. Yuki will choose graduate soon. The results are already been decided. Has my role in all this already ended? Is there nothing more I can do? I don't know. I think everything's fine. But everything feels wrong. I don't know. Yuki, who's saying that? Good night, everybody. I can't stand this anymore. Thanks for watching. What? Big bro? How Shinji, but he's dead. It's a ghost? You don't have to burden all this. You've done your best. Don't you deserve a break? What is this? Shinji's dead. A glimpse of utopia. Just in case you didn't believe in yourself, I thought I'd show you firsthand. What Yuki is really looking for is somebody to follow. Maybe that's why Shinji appeared before him. Big bro. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, bro. Yuki, this isn't real. It's just fantasy. Just fantasy? But is this real? There is no escape. For the moment you enter the New World program, become your new reality. Don't give up. You already know Mikado can manipulate the virtual world, don't you? He isn't real. Why are you trying to deny reality? This is your reward. You have been fighting so hard for a better world. Forget everything and just be happy. You could perhaps spend time with a lost friend. Wouldn't you rather be in a reality where they're with you again? A peaceful world? Shut up, shut up. Do you really think that will happen? It doesn't matter what you say, the decision is all up to Yuki. Yuki, now's the time to make a decision. You don't need to apologize, Yuki. It's for the best. Yes, thank you, big bro. No, Yuki.